At AEW Forbidden Door 2024, we had AEW, New Japan, CMLL, and Stardom's top talent competing, and a big return.
And Stephanie Vaquer had an amazing match. Oh yeah, Mercedes Moné was there too.
And what's been already touted as one of the greatest AEW matches of all time. Could Konosuke Takeshita steal that TNT title from the other 5 men in that ladder match? All that more on this week's episode of Grapple-Sauce. Hit it, Dave.
Hey, everybody out there, Daver here. How you doing?
Hey, this guy's Chad.
I'm doing pretty well, Dave. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How'd we all enjoy this Forbidden Door 3 in Long Island, New York?
There were parts I loved, and then there were parts I kind of zoned out for, but it moved. I think there's kind of an interesting benefit to having so many matches in that 4-hour block, which it like all of a sudden it was the main event. And I was like, oh geez, that was quick. So it had good pacing. I just wish some of the matches were better, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree. I think for the most part, I enjoyed it. But if I'm comparing it to last year's Forbidden Door, which was my first AEW show ever, I think I liked that show more. But that kind of had one of the greatest matches of all time on it. And not that Swerve and Ospreay, spoilers, wasn't a pretty dang good match, but I think it's just hard to beat what Omega and Ospreay did last year, because that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And not that they didn't have their own fantastic match, they did, but there was a couple stinkers. I would say 2 in particular that I was either really disappointed or just flat out bored. So we'll get to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know neither of you two watched the pre-show. I got to catch it. There were 4 matches on that, and they were fantastic. God. Let's see, we had Kyle Fletcher coming off losing his Ring of Honor TV title to Atlantis Jr.
Really? Actually, I
Yeah.
saw something about that. People were mad because they were like, they gave a title to a non-AEW person. But it's like, who cares? It's the Ring of Honor TV title. Do you really care? Like, do you really care? I am the only one who cared because I was like, oh, it's the TV title champion beating the world champion. That's kind of bad. But other than that, I'm the only one who cared about that.
Right?
Because that's when he pinned Marco in some big tag team match like 3 weeks ago. But nobody remembers it now.
Didn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got Kyle Fletcher looking focused, pretty angry. Basically, well, he squashed Serpentico. No surprise there. Still a great match. I feel like Kyle Fletcher, I've heard this said, this isn't from me, but he's where Will Ospreay was like 3 years ago. So
Interesting.
he's gonna he's going places. Like that dude, he's like putting on mass and uh getting more experience. So yeah, that match was real quick, kind of a squash, but still pretty fun. Really enjoyed it. We had Willow with of Stardom, uh female wrestler. I can't remember her name.
I'll look it
Um
up so we can be accurate, but I didn't watch it, so I don't. It was like someone named Momo and someone named like
Nakano.
Takano.
One was Nakano and one was Momo. But yeah, Statlander. Yeah, that match was fun. It really entertained me. It was great to get the crowd going.
It was
Uh,
Willow and Tam Nakano. They defeated Chris Statlander and Momo Watanabe.
yeah, it was really fun. Really fun preview for Dynamite. We're actually gonna get Willow versus Statlander in the Owen. Uh,
Already?
It's a stacked card.
Did Willow already beat Deeb? What does that on Collision?
happened on Rampage. That's why we didn't know.
Oh. Good to know. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
Tony.
If a tree falls in the forest and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we all knew it was gonna be Willow and Chris meeting in the Owen, so like at least they just like cut the chase. They're like, it's happening. Don't worry about it. So speaking of Dynamite, I mean, yeah, we got the wild card Shane McMahon versus Jeff Jarrett in the quarterfinal of the Owen Hart tournament. We got, let's see, it's Danielson and Pack already in the Owen Hart tournament. You got Daniel Garcia and Osprey for the international title. I'm actually really interested in that match, not just because Daniel Garcia, but it'll be really interesting to see what Osprey does after the main event, which we'll get
Yeah,
to.
I was talking with Dave, and I personally would like to see Osprey selling the effects of that brutal match. Like he just got beat down at the end, and
Big
maybe
Purple
drop
took
his
him
belt to
very well.
Garcia too, and like tell that story of like, oh, now I have to build. Like I had a hot start, now here I am, no belts, had two big losses. It'd be kind of a cool story.
Yeah, it's an interesting step to take Osprey because of how over he was, but maybe they're thinking like if we bring him down a little bit and then push him to the moon,
Hmm.
it'll be even bigger. So if
Yeah,
that's their end result, then yeah, it'll work.
yeah, it's Rocky 3, baby.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They did the
CM
same
Punk
thing
never
with
seen.
Hangman.
Mm,
Yeah, Hangman had to fight back from the bottom of the barrel, low down alcoholic. As long as they don't have Will Ospreay drinking beers in a paper
Right.
bag, I think we'll be all
yeah.
right.
Hopefully they don't do that. All right, back to the
Uh,
pre-show. I just wanted to bring up, like, yeah, we do have an absolutely stacked dynamite, but it is one of the dynamites with the name. It's Beach Break. So
Ooh.
yeah, they named it after Orange Cassidy's finisher.
how could they? How could you, Tony Khan, stealing from the best?
Little fun fact, AEW actually did a Bash at the Beach. They were able to get the rights to Bash at the Beach and did one AEW Bash at the Beach. And that was
That's cool.
where Diamond Dallas Page had his last match
That's
in
really
AEW.
cool. I didn't know that. He got to
Yep,
have his last match at a Bash at the Beach, so that's pretty cool.
yep,
Was
pretty
it with
cool stuff.
Sting or is it before Sting came into the company?
It was before. Yeah,
Because I know Sting came at like end of 2020, right? Because it was during pandemic,
Yeah,
right?
winter's coming.
yeah,
Yeah.
winter is coming. Uh, but yeah, yeah, that pre-show, like I said, it was really good. We also had a uh, four-way triple threat tag match. Um, let's see, we had Brody King, Malachi Black versus Kyle O'Reilly and Tomohiro Ishii, Private Party, and the New Japan Strong Openweight champion Gabe Kidd. Keep an eye on that guy, by the
Yeah,
way. Me and Chad saw him live at a Prestige. He's part of
those guys
the
are vicious.
yeah, part of the Bullet Club War Dogs with David Finley and something Connors. But yeah, that dude's something special. He's gonna really be a big star. And he teamed with Roderick Strong. Yeah, really great match. Kind of the highlight of that, not really a highlight, but a moment. Ishii uh, gave Brody King a brainbuster and kind of botched it a little bit. He landed right on his head, dude. It was a scary moment,
Was he
but
okay though?
he's okay. Tony
Thank
Khan got
goodness.
asked about it in the media scrum, so he'll
Yeah,
be
I
all
asked
right.
him in the media scrum. I was like, "Is he?" I rang in. I was like, "Is he okay?"
But yeah, the House of Black ended up taking it. Uh, Brody uh, hit uh, Isaiah Cassidy with the Gonzo bomb for the win. Really fun match, as you can imagine. A lot of people in there doing a lot of crazy stuff. Yeah, then we had that Willow Nightingale, Nakano versus Statlander and Watanabe. We know the outcome of that. Willow and Nakano won that. Then we had the Owen Hart quarterfinal match, Saraya versus Mariah May. Big surprise, Mariah May took that match. It was still kind of fun though. We had Toni Storm out there in her like hair curlers, like
I saw her outfit. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
and like a tracksuit on. And it's cool how she, didn't really respect Mariah May at first and didn't want to watch her matches, but she is full in. She had a freaking title match later in the night, and she was there to support Mariah May. So I like that story being told. She's all in. It's setting us up for some heartbreak, I'm sure.
It's just reminding me of like earlier on, like way early on when they started this relationship, and Tony Storm was like, "I don't watch wrestling." Like, who watches wrestling? When Mariah May was like, "Can you watch my match?" She was like, And then she's like, "Can you come to Collision?" She's like, "No one goes to that." And so it's just really funny, like how that's come full circle, and it just reminded me of that. But it's kind of interesting because Mariah May had to take out Saraya, who was one of Tony Storm's teammates a time ago. And then now you could argue that one of, if not Tony Storm's biggest rival in AEW has been Hikaru Shida. So now that
Yep.
Mariah May has to fight Hikaru Shida, it's pretty neat. And then she's most likely going to have to fight Chris Statlander in the final. I think that would be a pretty spicy, like, because then it's new heel Statlander versus Mariah May, and I think Mariah May should win, but we'll see. If Mariah May doesn't win, I'll be like Tony Khan at the end of the segment after Tony Storm's match. Did y'all see it?
Oh, wait.
Did you not?
What happened?
Okay, we'll talk about it when we get to the Tony Storm match. Nigel McGuinness was
Oh,
amazing.
dude.
Oh,
Dude.
Nigel. Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. And man, this trios match, LIJ, Hiromu Takahashi, Teton, and Yoda Tsuji versus Mystico and the Lucha Brothers. Like, it was a holy shit moment for real. People were like, wow, these guys have never teamed together because Lucha Brothers were always affiliated with AAA. So I guess somehow they're not really affiliated with them officially anymore.
I think
So
they're
they were
signed by AEW, right?
Yeah.
Lucha Bros.
yeah,
Yeah, they've
but
been with
they had
AEW since the beginning, right?
right, but there was an affiliation. Like they were
Oh.
still doing matches in AAA for
Mm.
years and years up until recently. So that was really incredible to see them team together. Mystico was Sin Cara, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, freaking this was the best match of the pre-show. Um, yeah, pretty much as you would imagine, Lucha Brothers and Mystico ended up winning the match. Mystico locked in a La Mystica and forced Teton to tap. So yeah, big moment there, really fun. Uh, it would have been a little cool to see the Lucha Brothers on the pay-per-view, but they had their moment. So
It was a pretty stacked card as is, and I feel like personally for me, I'm not really interested in like a big multi-man tag match unless there's a little bit of weight to it or there's something important about it. And I'm sure the match was great, but there was nothing on the line. There was no stakes at it. It was just kind of like, we'll have these 6 guys go out there that have a ball, which is nothing bad, but it might have dragged the card down a little bit.
I think the holy shit moment with the CML guy with former AAA guys were pretty cool to me. But yeah, it was pretty great. Yeah, now we get into the actual pay-per-view. Match number 1, we got MJF able to get it over with, and he probably got to get out of there early too.
What do you mean? They showed him in the main event. He was backstage still. Come on, Dave.
It totally wasn't pre-taped at all.
Totally not. Totally not. He was.
Yeah, his shirt off the entire time. 4 hours later. It's kind of cold out here now.
Can I just cut you off, Dave? I was so horribly disappointed with this match. Maybe just because I like Hechicero so much, but this was the we'll make MJF look good in his hometown crowd match, which is fine, but boy, it kind of like it was fine.
I was more disappointed in another match later on the night, but this was my second most disappointing match. It wasn't great. It wasn't horrible. It just
Felt like
occurred.
it felt like the start of the second hour Dynamite match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what
absolutely.
like not a
Or
main
anything that's
event.
not the opener or closer on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, not an opener, not a main event, nothing big, but like we need a big star on that second hour in case people tune in. Oh, MJF fighting a big lucha guy, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
He won, isn't that cool? Like that's just kind of all it felt like, and it was a fine opener, but like, eh.
My first disappointment was when are they going to let Hechicero play with the damn fire during his
It's a
entrance?
pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That's the
It's a
coolest thing.
pay-per-view.
Oh, it made me, yeah. I was like, come on, please let him do his little fireballs, dude. That's all I
The
want.
match was the match was short. It was like 10 minutes long. You could have had a fun
Nine,
entrance for him.
nine and some
Yeah.
change, man.
Yeah, so you could have had a fun entrance.
How'd you like MJF trying to crowd surf?
That was pretty fun. Like,
And the crowd like just
yeah, MJF was a lot of fun. I think my first note I wrote for the entire pay per view was MJF's nonsense is still second to none. Like
Yeah.
his sportsmanship and then kicking him in the gut and the eye poke. Like it's not groundbreaking stuff, but it's so much fun. Just the way he sells it, the way he's like so smarmy about it. Like he's still great. He's still MJF. So it was fun to watch him. It was just, oh man, I really like Hechicero, and I didn't get to see him do that many Hechicero things. So like,
Yeah.
oh well.
yeah. Uh, yeah, MJF tries to shake Hechicero's hand, but boots him in the gut instead. MJF gives Hechicero a running boot on the outside while Hechicero's sitting in a chair and he flies over the barricade. Hechicero gives MJF this I liked, a hammerlock swinging backbreaker. MJF really sells his arm after that. Basically, at this point, MJF's a one-armed man. Hechicero couldn't even beat him.
What is this?
Uh,
The main event of Full Gear?
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, MJF counters a Juji Katami into the Salt of the Earth. MJF gives Hechicero a Panama Sunrise, then a sheer drop brainbuster for the win. That seems to be his new finisher, huh?
Mm. I thought Hechicero's selling was really good. Like
Yeah.
he would take like a DDT or like the brainbuster and he like kind of like spazzed out a little bit. I thought that was like really good selling. But other than that, this was just kind of a match that happened.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's no heat to it, no real story. It was just like, well, it's MJF's hometown. Let's bring him in for the quick pop. 10 minutes or less and we're done. Bye.
Yeah, I would
my
have
real
wanted a
question,
little. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, my real question to all three of us, who's MJF's next feud going to be?
Osprey.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm,
Yeah.
I think that's the Wembley match. I don't know how they build to it, but they've been kind of planting seeds for it. So I think it makes sense. I mean, if they're not going to have Swerve in the title picture, or if they're not going to have Osprey in the title picture, I think MJF is as good an opponent as any, unless there's someone we don't know about. But like, I love Daniel Garcia. I don't think Daniel Garcia is a good Wembley opponent just because I don't think he's there, you know? Like Osprey's on another level. He is one of their main event guys already, and he's only been in the company for a couple months. So, especially in his home country, at a big show like All In, you need to put Osprey in a big match.
Now they could have that match at Wembley and it be the main event, I feel, without the world title if they maybe put Swerve in a tag match or a
No, that would
multi-man
suck.
match.
No, I don't want them. I don't want the world champ in a tag team match ever.
Yeah. You can always have them as the opener. That works sometimes.
Yeah, I don't mind it as the opener.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just
Maybe
trying to think
maybe
of a
they'll
way.
do Osprey Jericho too.
Ugh. Ugh.
I am the learning tree. Hi guys.
Hey, hi guys.
All
Please
right.
retire.
Guys, you don't want
Uh,
me to retire. You love me. I grew up here. You love me.
yeah. Moving on. Next match of the night, we got the Elite, the Young Bucks, and Okada versus the Acclaimed, Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Kind of cool. Okada and Tanahashi have had a multi-year rivalry in New Japan. Kind of cool to run that back a little bit. Cool history. Max Caster got to actually rap. He got a really long one. He made fun of Joe Biden, Justin Timberlake. Had a little bit where he said bitch after everything, making fun of Okada. Uh,
Simon Miller counted. It was 7.
Huh.
gotcha. The bitch count.
Yeah.
Uh, and Bowens looked good, man, after having that leg issue in the eliminator match, really selling that. He looked quick, uh, real strong. Yeah, dude, I think Bowens is gonna have a singles run of a lifetime. Like, that's what I want anyway.
I hope.
Uh, I think he's great. Um, let's see. Anthony Bowens gives Matthew and Nicholas a double scissor me timbers. Nicholas puts Max's headphones on at one point, and Okada's hip hop dancing. Okada and Tanahashi finally are the two legal men. Tanahashi gives Okada a flipping senton from the top rope for a 2 count, then a dragon screw into a Texas cloverleaf. Nicholas super kicks Tanahashi to break the hold. Tanahashi goes for a frog splash on Okada, but Okada puts his knees up. The Young Bucks super kick Tanahashi, and Okada gives Tanahashi his patented elbow drop, but doesn't cover him. Tanahashi rolls up Okada in a small package for a 2 count. Eventually, Okada ends up hitting Tanahashi with the Rainmaker for the win. Okada tries to give Tanahashi another Rainmaker, but Daddy Ass runs in to make the save. Yeah, it was pretty fun. Not a great match, not a horrible one. It was a little better than you know just being there on the card. It was okay, nothing great.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. You had to get Tanahashi on the card, or you had to get the Bucks and Okada on the card, and I feel like this
Mhm.
carries on the acclaimed feud with the Bucks and keeps it going on. And you didn't pin either of the acclaim, so it keeps them looking good. So thought it was a fine match. As Chad says, it was kind of just a popcorn match, and it was the best rap we've got in a while.
Yeah.
I know he hasn't rapped in a while, but I thought it was pretty good. So
Yeah, it was
nothing too
fun.
crazy.
Everybody's personalities came out. The all the talent involved. I don't think they really want to put their bodies on the line for anything less than like a big main event match at this point. So
Yeah,
they had fun. They let their personalities shine through. Did some goofy stuff and called it a night. But it was enough for me. I mean, friggin' for me, the Rainmaker just can't do no wrong right now. He just
mhm,
makes me giggle.
yeah,
He's great. And the fact like he's just gonna be goofy and weird and have fun, but then one day he's gonna throw on the Rainmaker gear and be the Rainmaker again, and you're gonna be like, holy shit.
yeah.
Because
You
he's just got that ability to turn it on. Like,
Oh yeah. So it was a fun match. I enjoyed it. Nothing bad to say, but it
yeah.
wasn't like a 5-star masterpiece. But not every match has to be.
Now, the acclaimed are able to pick when they get their title shot, we're talking all in probably, right?
Nah, it's like Money in the Bank. They're just gonna wait for them to get beat up, and then it's the Acclaimed. They're cashing in their Eliminator match in the bank. They're not gonna do that. They'll probably do it at All In, but that would be fun.
Wouldn't it be fun if we got like just Max Caster versus Nicholas or Matthew and just Anthony Bowens, a couple singles
Yeah,
matches? I
yeah,
think that'd be
they've
fun,
got like
right?
a month and a bit to kill. They should do all the permutations.
Mhm.
Hmm.
It's like
Yeah,
end of August, right? Like August 25th, something. We have time.
yeah, yeah. I think that'll be real fun if we get a couple combo
Yeah.
variations in the meantime. Cool, yeah. Like I said, not terrible. It was fun. It was a way to get the Bucks and Okada on the card, like you said, Chandler. They accomplished what they needed,
Yeah.
and I
I
feel like that. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I was listening to sort of a comparison where it's almost like how New Japan kind of books their shows, which is start off and they just build the heat throughout the night. So it's like it's very like this, they'll start off inconsequential and goofy, and then throughout the night, like it just gets more and more intense and serious. So maybe they were kind of doing an homage to that too.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of knew from the get go that Max Caster got to rap and do a long one. Like, oh, he's losing.
At least he got to be funny.
Yeah, he's good at that. So, yeah, next match after that, we got a round one Owen Hart Cup tournament match. Brian Danielson versus Shingo Takagi. Man, Shingo really got to shine in this match. I am now a full-fledged Shingo Takagi fan. I want to see him do other things. Like, man, I don't know how you like what paid thing you have to do to get New Japan matches or whatnot. But I'm every time I see a New Japan, wrestler that I really like, it makes me want to do that even more. So, yeah, I'm a fan. Uh, yeah, the match started out pretty technical. Danielson in control. Danielson put Takagi in the Romero special. Eventually, Danielson tries to tope Takagi on the outside, but Takagi counters and drops Danielson right on his head. Danielson selling his neck. Uh, you know how good he's at is at that. Doc
Hmm.
Samson has to check on him. At that point, Takagi focuses on Danielson's neck. Um, Later on, Danielson gives Takagi a top rope back body suplex, and it looked like it hurt Danielson more than it hurt Takagi. Takagi counters a triangle sleeper into a power slam. That was pretty smooth. Takagi gives Danielson a made in Japan. Uh, I like that move because Penta does it. uh, Somehow Danielson kicks out at 2. Brian Danielson hits Takagi with a Bosaiku knee, and he covers, but Takagi kicks out at 2. Danielson ends up kicking his fucking head in, and then gets a triangle sleeper locked in, and then transitions into a really brutal arm lock and torques that puppy back. And I guess Takagi tapped. It almost looked like
I
Aubrey
think
just
it
kind
was
of
a
called
verbal.
it.
It was an I quit.
Yeah, like Aubrey was just like, it looks like he's done, so we'll just end the match.
Yeah, man. But yeah, really great. Danielson, man, who can sell better than Danielson? Like, not
Oh
many,
yeah,
right?
I kind of forgot about this match because there are 3 matches later on the card that I think are way better than it. But I think this is 4th best match on the card, which is it's saying something because there are
Yeah.
3 really good matches on this card that are to come. But I thought this was a really excellent match. I would love to see more of Shingo Takagi, like you said, but I mean, Bryan Danielson is in his last full time year. He's not gonna lose. Like, I'm sorry, he's not gonna. And they're gonna have him in a big marquee match at All In. So, I loved how basically like Shingo Takagi was kind of like doing like big strikes against Bryan Danielson really early on, and like Danielson kept counting it, and then he snuck him into an armbar. I loved that. And then I loved Shingo doing the yes chants like the whole time, and then doing the hammer and anvil blows. I liked that little. I like little cheeky stuff like that, and I just thought it was really hard hitting match, and I want to see more of Shingo Takagi.
Yeah, he looks like he stepped out of a samurai movie. Like the dude looks like a warrior. Like,
Oh, he's huge.
yeah. Oh man, I was like heard the name, never got to see him, and I was like, oh yeah, same. I'm on the same boat as you guys. Like, I need more of this guy. He's great.
The
Uh,
only thing I like knew about him, like literally before this match, is I remember at Wembley last year, people were talking about like potential Kenny Omega matches for All In. And I heard one person say, "Well, he's never wrestled Shingo Takagi, and he's pretty good. So do Takagi Omega at Wembley." So now that I've seen Shingo Takagi,
yeah,
I would like to see that match whenever Omega's back. But that's whatever.
yeah.
So,
And
uh,
maybe he can fight Takeshi as a warm up.
ooh, don't tease me. Don't get me excited. But yeah, Danielson versus Pac on Dynamite. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And now I think
Oh.
that Dan or Nigel McGuinness said something like, Bryan Danielson has never held a title in AEW in the 3 years he's been here. What a bloody bum.
Pathetic.
So I think Danielson's winning that title at All In, guys.
Yeah, just
I
to rub
didn't
his face into it.
I was so like not against it, but I didn't think it was happening. And now I'm like, oh, it's happening, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. How'd you like the moniker versus moniker for this match? The American Dragon versus
Yeah.
the Rampage Dragon?
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool. I didn't know he was the king of Rampage. Good for you, Shingo
yeah.
Takagi.
I mean, none of us watch Rampage. Who do?
Yeah.
I didn't know he's just the main event of every single Rampage. It's just him killing someone.
Man,
And
I
we just
should we watch it?
yeah, should we start watching Rampage? If Shingo Takagi's the dragon of it, maybe. That's how you get me into it.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it wasn't as good as a couple other matches later on, but it was pretty damn good. It got me fired up. Uh, Watching Danielson fight back and from looking really hurt to winning the match. Like he ended dominantly. So yeah,
I
ready
think
for him to
despite
face
how
back.
slow it was kind of in the beginning, maybe this should have opened the show.
That would have
Like
been
you have
good.
like I know MJF popping the crowd, but like he could pop the crowd anywhere in the show. So I think if this and the MJF match kind of switched, maybe it would have been better. It's not like it ruined the card having that match open, but I always feel like you should have a pretty hot match
Yeah.
opening the card, and I think this match should
Yeah,
have opened it.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, next up on the card, we had the AEW Women's World Championship match. Tony Storm defending against Mina Shirakawa. We want Mina. We want Mina.
I want
Dude,
Tony. Can we talk about how she came out with the Statue of Liberty getup? Oh, perfect. Perfect.
perfect, perfect. Mwah.
And then the
Yeah.
torch went away and it was her title. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Ooh, yeah. I have made the decision now that I like Mina Shirakawa better than Hikaru Shida. Mina Shirakawa is the better Shida in my mind.
Mhm.
Like, I don't even care about Shida anymore. I wanted to for so long, but man, even though she's the only three-time women's world champion in
Tony.
AEW,
Her
or
and
oh yeah,
Tony.
oh yeah, tied with Tony. I don't know. They really never uh let Sheeta shine. She doesn't
Yeah.
have the personality. Like Mina
Yeah.
has it.
Oh yeah, Mina is definitely a personality. We'll get into that into the after match celebration, I guess.
Yep. 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 But yeah, Tony Storm dressed like the Statue of Liberty, like you said. Uh Mariah gives them both flowers, which is, I guess, a Stardom tradition or something like that. And she's torn between which one to support. Uh, Tony gives Mina a standing hip attack, which I'd never seen her do. I liked that a lot. Mina Shirakawa targets Tony's leg and ends up hitting it on the ring post, then doing a figure four on the ring post. Mina Shirakawa, I wrote down here, she's got talent, man. She's really great. And I didn't really know that until this match. Um, Tony misses a hip attack to Mina and ends up hitting the steel steps on the floor. Mina dives on Tony and Luther from the top rope onto the floor. Mariah May is sitting there looking conflicted. Mina gives Tony a figure four, and Tony reverses the pressure, rolling over. And then Mina turns back over, and Tony grabs the ropes to break the hold. Mina Shirakawa gives Tony a top rope DDT, then another DDT in the ring, and she covers, but Tony kicks out at two. Tony Storm gives Mina Shirakawa a hip attack, covers her, only gets two out of it. Then Tony Storm kicks out of a glamorous driver, uh, or a Mina driver. I think I've heard them called both. At like 2.999, like it was almost
Probably one of the
three.
best kickouts of the night. That
Proper
was,
Roman Reigns kick out.
yeah.
Yeah, freaking had me going. And then out of nowhere, Tony hits a Storm Zero
A
for the
shoot
win.
Storm Zero. Shoot Storm Zero.
Yeah, yeah. So Tony Storm wins the match. She actually helps Mina Shirakawa up. And not only do they shake hands, but Mariah makes them hug
Go on.
and all three women kiss. We got a wonderful bravo. We've got
Bravo,
Nigel
Tony
Mc,
Khan. You're no longer cooked. You're
we've
cooking.
got Nigel McGuinness standing ovation. Woo!
Sobbing. I loved how I think it was Taz who was like, all right, sit down. Just sit down.
Yeah.
So good, man. Dude, they got me good on this, dude. I thought something was going down, but I am pleasantly surprised that it
Mhm.
nothing negative happened.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is way cooler than someone turning on someone, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like,
no. When the Mariah May thing breaks down, it's gonna be that much more heartbreaking.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the MJF Adam Cole All In last year where everyone was like, oh, one of them's gonna turn on the other, and it ended with, oh no, they're not gonna turn on each other, which is a nice ending. So I quite liked this match. If we're talking about rankings, I guess this would probably be like my fifth or sixth favorite match, depending on the other women's match. But in this match, at least I liked both competitors. Hint, hint, hint. But I'm not trying to go all Jim Cornette on this. I genuinely liked this match, but one thing I noticed was Mina hit a diving DDT from the top rope and then another DDT, and Tony Storm kicked out. And I was like,
Yeah.
remember when the DDT? I don't remember because I wasn't alive back then, but like, remember when the DDT was like a killing move? Like you hit
Mhm.
it and it was over, and now it's like two big DDTs and is a kick out. I just thought that was funny. That's it. And then she whipped the hip attack and hit the stairs. That had to fucking hurt.
Yeah.
And then Luther got splashed by Mina as well as Tony. I thought that was a fun spot. And then of course the sportswomanship at the end was a nice surprise. And I just thought it was weird how commentary they were like, Tony Storm's like her mom and Mina Shirakawa's like her best friend. And I'm like, and you're gonna make them kiss you all at the same time? Ow! Women be crazy, am I right? Women be crazy. We'll just move on.
Oh man. Real quick, I keep hearing the term to sum this whole story up. It was a romantic comedy,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I thought it
you
was a
know?
fun
Yeah.
match, fun ending. So
Yeah. And like for every one of Tony Storm's big matches, I always have the same reaction, which is I always fall for like her shenanigans and her acting. And I kind of forget just how damn good she is in the ring. And then she has the match, and it's like, oh yeah, she can do that too.
Oh my god, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I was just going to cough.
That
But
was interesting.
I'm sorry, but yeah, just how she'll go from "I'm gonna suck your bottom" to "Oh wait, she's a good wrestler." I forgot.
Yeah.
It's like Tony Storm is like what? I think she's still my third favorite person in AEW overall because I don't think it's Takeshita, Swerve, and then her.
Yeah.
And then
That's kind of
Joe's
been your
Joe's really close. Joe's like right there. He's like right there.
Yeah.
it's been your top 3 for a minute too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, loved it. I'm glad I was pleasantly surprised, and like you said, Chad, when it does happen, it'll be that much more devastating
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
Mariah
Yeah.
turns.
Like,
So
Kind
oh,
of like how
they're turning the story game on point now. It's a
yeah.
little more slow builds and
Oh yeah. Kind of like how the MJF and Adam Cole story would have been pretty good if both of them weren't injured.
mm-hmm.
And then
yeah,
MJF could just kind of punked Adam Cole at Double or Nothing. So it's like I don't care about that story when Adam Cole comes back. I'll be honest. Like
No.
I don't care if they have a good match. I don't care because MJF just kind of won, and MJF was like he cut a good promo. So like
Yep. Just move on. Don't need it.
the Devil Dumpling Gang are dead. They're just dead. Where's Wardlow
Wardlow
been?
who?
Yeah. Well, again, I think I said it like kind of jokingly, but they don't have any titles anymore, so Wardlow has nothing to do anymore.
Yeah, tried to trademark his name too. Did you hear that?
Oh, he's going to
Mm,
WWE with Ricky Starks, baby.
But so did Penta and Ray Phoenix.
So they're going to WWE too. AEW gets Ricochet, W gets Wardlow, Ricky Starks, and the Lucha Bros. That's even, right?
Dijak,
Oh, and Dijak. I forgot.
Shane McMahon.
Okay, you know what? Shane McMahon is the best wrestler in the world.
yeah.
They need to do Shane McMahon and Osprey as the first match. Best in the world versus the best in the world, please.
I've always wanted to see somebody die in the ring.
Oh my
Uh,
god! Okay, you know what? If Osprey hits the Tiger Driver on Shane, he'll be better than Takeshita. He'll be my number one favorite wrestler in AEW.
so how often does Shane McMahon get injured in a match? Like all the
Not
time,
that
right?
much. No,
Okay.
he
I just like feeling that
it. Okay, so I'm thinking right because he only came back 2016. It was WrestleMania 32. And then he did get a concussion in the Survivor Series match of that
Yeah.
year.
He
But
earned that
like,
one though. That was a gnarly jump.
oh, well, okay, so I'm gonna be real with y'all. That match is no joke one of my favorite matches of all time. Like if we do the retro match review, I think that might be my first match I have you
Oh,
guys watch
nice.
because it's like an hour long epic. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But Shane McMahon literally gets speared out of his shoes. It's crazy. So like that is like, okay, yeah, you get a concussion from that. Like, no shit, man. Like that was tough.
he speared
And
him.
then Roman Reigns, basically, he was doing a coast to coast. Oh, which is where he jumps across the ring, and Roman got up and speared his ass. But
Yeah, it was awesome.
it
Yeah,
was
I watched that one.
it's a phenomenal match. And then I mean, I didn't really watch like 2017 to 2022 because WWE really sucked at that time. But he got injured at WrestleMania 39 because he hadn't wrestled in a year. I mean, he got injured off of a basic move, but again, he's old and he hasn't wrestled in a while,
Yeah,
so kind of makes sense.
Wasn't it an ankle or a knee or something like that?
I
good
think
his
it was his
quads,
AC. Yeah, he tore his quad.
both of them.
Yeah, he did
He,
His
the
dad?
yeah, just
yes.
like Daddy.
He did the what do they call it? The international, where like one wrestler hits the rings and then the other guy does the leapfrog over them, and he did the leapfrog and he tore both quads.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
where Snoop Dogg had to call an audible, brother, and he punched Miz and pinned him. Oh no, he did the people's elbow and pinned
yeah.
him.
Saved WrestleMania.
Maybe we should watch that. Never mind. It's gonna be Shane McMahon versus Miz / Snoop Dogg versus Miz, and I want Dave to be like, "Why did you make me watch this? Why?"
Oh man, it might be fun. It might be fun.
Hmm.
Uh, cool. Yeah. All right. What do we got here coming up here? Ooh. Orange Cassidy versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Can I say something
Ooh.
controversial?
Yeah.
I think this was my favorite match on the night.
Me too.
Like,
Really?
It
okay,
was
so
fantastic.
I know the TNT title match was really good, minus the ending, and the Swerve Osprey match was fantastic. But I don't know, I just don't get to see Zack Sabre Jr. every day, and like I know I don't get to see Takeshita every day, and like if Takeshita won, maybe that would have been my favorite match. But I don't know, just something about this match clicked with me. I loved the story they told all throughout. I'll let Dave kind of explain it, but I'm just saying, I
Yeah.
think this was my favorite match of the night. I think
Yeah,
it
well,
told the best
that was
story.
my note. It was shockingly enough my match of the night for sure.
So on Collision, uh, Orange Cassidy and Ishii had a match. They beat TMDK, and
Mhm.
Zack Sabre Jr. confronts Orange Cassidy backstage, and he's like, "I've got something for you that I've been waiting to use a long time." And arrogant Orange Cassidy says, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna beat you with both hands in my pockets." Uh, so yeah, that was the downfall right there. Don't want to get too far, but woo, man, yeah,
Yeah.
it was a great match. Let's see, Zack Sabre Jr. and Orange Cassidy uh, start off with some good technical countering wrist locks and arm drags. Orange Cassidy rolls out of the ring, walks around it slowly, trying to play mind games with Zack Sabre Jr. Orange Cassidy is starting to get a bit more technical, but Zack Sabre Jr. gives him a neck breaker with his feet. I love that thing he does.
Mhm.
Uh, Zack Sabre Jr. uses strikes to knock over Orange Cassidy, and then lazy kicks him into hard kicks into Orange Cassidy's midsection. Orange Cassidy drop kicks Zack Sabre Jr., then a big dragon screw. Zack Sabre Jr. rolls out of the ring on the outside. Orange Cassidy topes him and gives him another dragon screw. Orange Cassidy gives Zack Sabre Jr. another dragon screw in the ring, so that's three at this point, targeting the leg. Zack Sabre Jr. counters a beach break into a sleeper. Orange Cassidy nails Zack Sabre Jr. with a diving DDT, and man, his head bounced off the mat. That thing looked brutal. Orange Cassidy covers him, only gets two out of it. Zack Sabre Jr. stomps Orange Cassidy's arm and elbow and then bends his wrist back in an unnatural position and then tries to break his hand, uh, trying to neutralize the orange punch naturally. Orange Cassidy gets a Texas Cloverleaf on Zack Sabre Jr., but Zack Sabre Jr. is able to get to the ropes. Orange Cassidy hits a uh, beach break, covers, but Zack Sabre Jr. kicks out at two. They roll around the ring, trying to cover each other over and over and over and over. Zack Sabre Jr. ends up winning by tying up Orange Cassidy in a submission where it's like, oh, his arm's reaching for the rope. Let me grab that. Whoop. Oh, his leg's reaching for the rope. Let me grab that. Whoop. And he's got every limb just tied up. So, dude, Orange Cassidy had to uh, give up.
Yeah, you couldn't even tap. Yeah, you couldn't do nothing. You just saw his head go like, "I'm done."
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Zack Sabre Jr. is the best technical wrestler on the planet.
Yeah. That kid's kind of good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah,
Oh,
I'll
what
let
did
you
you
two.
think?
I'll let you two say whatever you want, because I'll go off a little bit on this match. But Chad, do you have
mm.
anything you want to say?
Yeah, for me, like, loved the match, and for me, it felt like Zack Sabre Jr. was never really in trouble except for maybe those dragon screws. Those dragon screws he got was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Those look sick. But he just has an answer for everything. He's like 4 moves ahead, and it's like, "Oh, hey, there's a body part. I can do something to that. Oh, now I wanna do" like, unreal, unreal. But then I like at the end of this, his little show of respect and him kinda coming off almost as the face of the match. It was really cool.
hmm
But I'm super interested to hear what Chandler thought.
Oh, I mean, just kind of repeating what you said. I loved the story of Zack Sabre Jr. not really respecting Orange Cassidy. Like, you're nothing. Like the little bits during the early bit where maybe Orange Cassidy would out wrestle him for a second, and then Zack Sabre Jr. start clapping, like, "Oh, I'm in a ankle lock, but I don't really care. I'm just gonna start clapping you." And then there's a bit where like Orange Cassidy grabbed his foot, and Zack Sabre Jr. just smacked the shit out of him. Oh, it was such a good spot, and I loved it so much. Like you said with the dragon screws, like most of the time people go down with the dragon screws. And again, I've never really seen Orange Cassidy hit a dragon screw, so it was nice to see him add a little bit to his move kit. But Zack Sabre Jr. sold it better by like staying up with it, and it just looks so much more devastating when like it looked like it hurt so bad. And then I called Orange Cassidy the heel of the match for that because I was like, oh, he's just ruthless. He's relentless with this guy. So I really loved it. And then I loved when they had their little roll up palooza. I don't really like those bits in the match because I'm like, whatever. They're just gonna roll each other up for a while. But those two just kept going at it, and no one could get a pin. And then I loved how I know Zack Sabre Jr. didn't originate it because Taz kind of got pissy about it later in the night. But I'm just gonna call it the Zack Sabre Jr. pin because I've only seen him do it where he like locks him up and then like goes upside down. And then Orange Cassidy did it back to him with his hands in his pocket. I thought that was great. That was a fun little bit. And then like you said with him winning, it was that like it was I think it's Zack Sabre Jr.'s move technically, but the first time I saw it was when Danielson tapped out Okada last year because his arm was broken, so he had to use his legs. And basically, he like held his legs back with, or held his arms back with his legs. And then, as you were saying, OC was getting there. He's like, nah, I'm gonna get your legs, and he just kind of held him like this. And I'm like, yeah, you would just kind of give up because you can't really get out of that. And then, of course, because Zack Sabre Jr. is kind of a bastard, he's not gonna shake his hands, but he handed him his glasses. It was just a nice little moment of like, you were good, like you were pretty good out there, kid. And that's all Zack Sabre Jr. is gonna do. So I loved this match. I think this is one of my favorite AEW matches I've seen in a while. I thought they really gelled well, and I want to see Zack Sabre Jr. more. But if
Yeah.
he's happy and content in New Japan, then stay in New Japan because I'll just say this, and I'll bring it up again in a later match. I was listening to the Wrestling Observer Radio, and I trust them when they talk about New Japan because I don't watch New Japan. But they were like, yeah, they really need to start pushing their younger talent because they don't have anyone at the top of the card. So if they're going to keep Zack Sabre Jr., yeah, you should
Yeah.
because that guy's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Just like us talking about the match and me going through it, like, yeah, it was freaking great. I'm gonna give it number three.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. It's just I think maybe it's just because I don't get to see Zack Sabre Jr. every day. It was my favorite match of the night, and I think it was one of the best Orange Cassidy matches I've seen in a long time. Because I think he just kind of is on like autopilot, not like autopilot, but like he hits an orange punch, he hits a beach break, he hits a stun dog millionaire, and it's like all right, whatever. But this match, I feel like he really stepped up and tried to change his moveset a bit because he had to for Zack Sabre Jr. And I think it really worked.
Does Orange Cassidy go into a dark, dark place now? Is he gonna did he do that already? Has that already been done? Has he gone to the
I think
darkest
he is.
place?
Well, they changed. He's now "Where's My Mind" by the Pixies, so he is in that dark place, I guess.
Should it go farther? Like, could he full blown heal?
Maybe, but what does heel Orange Cassidy look like? What does he do?
Just more brutal,
I
more
Mhm.
guess.
violent. I
He was
guess.
he was pretty ruthless against Zack Sabre Jr. So maybe you're right. Maybe we are kind of sealing the heel Orange Cassidy, and Zack Sabre Jr. kind of had to do the face move at the end, even though
Yeah.
he's still not a face. He was the one who showed the sign of respect, and Orange Cassidy didn't really reciprocate. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. He should form a faction called the Worst Friends.
ooh, the worst enemies.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Mm.
Okay, yeah. I like it.
Replace Tomohiro Ishii with Zack Sabre Jr.
It's just one big long can they coexist storyline.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, Dave, can we move on to the actual best match of the night? Because our favorite, Christopher Jericho, was there. Hey, guys.
Woo. Hi, guys.
Hi,
Uh,
guys.
yeah, we got the learning tree. I keep wanting to call the faction the learning tree, but Jericho himself is the learning tree.
Well, yeah, because Big Bill's the redwood and Brian Keith is the bad apple. Get it
And we're
right, Dave.
and we're the branches.
Yes. I'm
Uh,
proudly a branch of the learning tree.
but yeah, we had Jericho, Big Bill, and Jeff freaking Cobb. I'm glad you got to see him wrestle, Chandler.
Big
Um,
boy. Big boy.
Whee! Versus Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata. Love this trio of Joe, Hook, and Shibata. No one can tell me otherwise. They're my top little group with the conglomeration right up there at the top.
Hmm.
They can do no wrong. Right off the bat, the crowd is chanting, "Please retire"
What do
to
you mean, guys?
Jericho. What do you mean? He gets on the mic. He says he's their hometown hero, and Taz had to kind of fill us in a little bit. He did live in Long Island, but in the rich kid neighborhood, because his dad played for the New York Rangers. A little backstory there. Man, Big Bill, get him out of that faction. Dude, he is a giant beast that needs to just plow through. They need to give him the Goldberg treatment, man. Like they need to do with him what they should have done with Wardlow.
They should do Big Bill and Goldberg at All In Goldberg retirement match. I'm not really
Damn,
kidding with that. I'm not really kidding
damn,
with
I
that.
like that. I like that a lot.
Because
Yeah.
Goldberg keeps asking for his retirement match, and I don't think he's getting it with WWE. So screw it. Just do All In. Do some big guy you want to push to the moon. Why not Big Bill? Why not?
Ooh, yeah.
I would say
Um,
Wardlow, but I think Wardlow's going to WWE, so you wouldn't really want to give Wardlow that big win. Unless it's for lack of a better example, the Goldberg Brock Lesnar WrestleMania 20, where they're both gonna leave, so we'll just throw them in the ring together, and both of them didn't care. So it's Goldberg retirement match. Wardlow's leaving. We'll throw them in the ring, and they'll both suck.
I'm no longer invested in Wardlow at all. Like they've fumbled it so much.
I think I am only because I haven't been watching AEW since the start. I've been watching it for a year, and so when Wardlow comes around, I'm like, "Ooh, look at this big guy! He's great!" And then he kind of just goes away. And I do see the criticism that everybody has for him, but I think it's his booking. It's not him; it's his booking where he's really good. He just has a mini push and then loses and then leaves.
Should he be out because of remember he had that match where he hurt his knee? He didn't have a match after that.
Mm,
Remember where he
no, he
like
wrestled Joe. He didn't injure his knee with Joe. That was his last match was with Joe, right?
maybe I
Because
remember
I
he like
remember,
looked like he hurt his knee.
I don't know.
Speaking of injuries, I did read that Tony Khan was thinking about having an injury report show.
Yeah, I read that.
What do you think about that, Chandler?
So like,
Depending on how comfortable the wrestler is with divulging, it can't be like, like a pretty big health thing that's not like injury related and they're comfortable talking about it.
probably wouldn't watch it honestly, but if he wants to do it, why not? I mean, we can find out what happened to Buddy Matthews, what injury he had, right?
Oh
Right?
yeah, yeah. He got us good, dude.
No,
Real good.
I think I was like, nah, they're showing it too much. He's not injured. And turns out he got married to Rhea Ripley. So Ripley. So
But yeah, back to the learning tree match here. Uh Shibata no sells chops from Jericho. Hook and Shibata slowly walk away from Jericho's crossbody, just like Samoa Joe. They made him so proud. Joe and Jeff Cobb give us a little mini meat match, making me really want that to happen in the future. But we get a singles match, Joe and Cobb. Um, Jeff Cobb gives Hook a standing moonsault for a 2 count. Hook uh, uh, gives Big Bill a double sledge from the top rope to the floor. Jericho low blows Shibata and gets him in the walls of Jericho. Uh, Jeff Cobb gives Shibata the tour of the island. So that's what I wanted you to, the
Yeah,
move
that's
I
a
wanted
cool
you to
move.
see. Um, Hook actually T-bone suplexes Jeff Cobb. Jericho gives Hook a code breaker, but Hook gets the red rum locked in on Jericho. Jericho escapes. And then Hook hits Jericho with the Judas effect and gets the win. Uh, I thought it looked great. I'm hearing some chatter online that Hook's Judas effect didn't look that great, but I think it looked okay. Like he kind of telegraphed it a little bit, and but he landed it. He nailed it. It looked smooth enough to me.
I thought it
He
looked
need
great.
he needed that win.
Yeah.
He
I had
needed to
it in
be the
my notes.
one.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
He needed to be the one to pin Jericho.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
I would agree. Um, I put it in my notes where I said, "Hey, when anyone else does the Judas effect, it looks pretty good."
Yeah.
Because I remember one of the Bucks did it at like Full Gear last year, or like a match the Bucks had with Jericho, and I thought it looked better than when Jericho does it. And I didn't like the Bucks at that time, and Hook did it, and I thought it looked better than when Jericho did it too. And I think Osprey did it, and it looked better than when Jericho did it. So like, man, everybody who does the Judas effect does it better than Jericho.
Can we forget the best Judas effect in the business, Andrade?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's something else. Like he fakes it, feints a kick, and then nails him with an elbow. I heard because he's been in WWE now, people are saying that that should be his new finisher, which I agree. That's like one of my favorite moves in wrestling right now is that Andrade elbow.
Yeah.
It's Takeshita knee, Andrade elbow, swerve house call. I don't know, any big man move kind of.
Takesha's Blue Thunder Bomb.
Oh yeah, Takeshita the Blue Thunder Bomb, Takeshita Huluva Kick, Takeshita Punch, Takeshita Elbow, Takeshita being in the ring, Takeshita walk into the ring. Need I move on? Can we get to the Takeshita match already? I'm kidding.
No
We
one
we can
can
talk.
knee like
Yeah.
Takeshita.
Oh yeah. But I thought this was another kind of like that elite match earlier, just kind of a fun popcorn match. The absolute right man won. Um, and I honestly thought the Learning Tree was gonna win, and so I was glad that they didn't.
Right?
What do you think, Chad?
Yeah, no. This match could have easily had that result, and I would be bitching and moaning right now. But no, it was a fun match. Everybody's personalities came through. The exact same stuff I said about the Young Bucks match, and I'm happy with the result. And maybe now we can do something more interesting with these people.
Now you got to run back the Jericho Hook match at All In, baby. What's Jericho gonna do at All In, huh?
He's gonna lose that FTW title.
I hope so.
I hope it's to someone who isn't Hook, because I think
Ooh.
Hook should be doing other things. I think Hook should be doing bigger and better things. I think he should
He
be
could be
going.
going for the trios champion with these guys, man. That would be amazing.
Ooh,
What
wow.
Chad,
Okay.
what my co-host Chadley just said, I 100% agree. I I don't hate the FTW title because the gimmick of it's always a hardcore match when you defend it is neat, but I think Hook's above it, and I think Hook
Yeah.
needs to be above it. So I think Hook got his win back. Move on. You're with Joe and
Yeah.
Shibata now. Move on.
And the nature of the hardcore match that usually comes with it is usually a little more cartoony.
Yeah.
Like it's no Hangman Swerve death match. It's usually a little more popcorny, goofy. They're fun, but at the same time, if it's a hardcore belt,
Yeah. I don't who do we pick to take that FTW title off of Jericho? Who's our pick? Takeshita.
Yeah, that was always my first. I was gonna say that, but man, oh man. Um, yeah, Takeshita would be there. Hmm.
I'm kind of joking with
Dante
that.
Martin.
Why not? He,
Yeah.
he he did pretty good in the ladder match. Why not?
Yeah.
yeah, Briscoe.
Which, speaking of,
He's got two
uh,
shoulders and one title, so unironically, why not Mark Briscoe?
Yeah.
mhm,
I
mhm.
mean, he can do goofy hardcore. Like,
Yeah, you can. But yeah, speaking of Briscoe and Dante Martin, we've got our TNT ladder match. Mark Briscoe, Takeshita, Dante Martin, Leo Rush, El Phantasmo, and Jack Perry.
I wonder
uh,
who's gonna win. Is it El
I don't know.
Phantasmo? Is it Leo Rush? Is it Dante Martin?
I like El Phantasmo.
Oh, he was
He
great.
great. He reminded me of Logan Paul.
He reminded me of Kenny Omega.
Okay,
But
okay.
yeah, this was my first El Phantasmo
yeah.
match, and
What I say during the preview, he's like a Latino Logan Paul, which ironically is just Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah,
don't say
pretty
that.
much.
We're gonna get heat for that.
Uh, but yeah, from the get-go, they all attack Jack Perry because they all hate him.
Mhm.
Uh, then they focus on Takeshita, throw him out of the ring.
Makes
We
sense.
got
He's the biggest man in the match, and he's the greatest wrestler in the world. So, like, yeah, let's all team him up. Let's all team up on him so he doesn't go crazy.
4-on-1. Yep, the only way to do it. Then we got Briscoe, El Phantasmo, Leo Rush, and Dante Martin. They all look up at the title, and then they look at each other, and then they all go grab ladders at the same time. Has that trope been done? Is that like common? Like I like that.
Probably in a Money in the Bank match, but not none that I can remember off the top of my head. It felt fun. Like it was a fun spot, no matter what.
I liked it a lot. Let's see. Mark Briscoe sets up a table. Jack Perry tries to grab the belt while no one's looking, but Leo Rush ends up stopping him. El Phantasmo F5s Leo Rush onto a ladder. Oh, that looked painful. Uh, Takeshita slams a ladder into Dante Martin, then gives him a brainbuster on the ladder. And Dante Martin sold that like a champ, dude. He just grabs his neck and like it looked like he was hurt. Like
Mhm.
he did it. He fooled me. Um, Mark Briscoe uses a chair to dive from the ring onto Takeshita. Um, through a table while there's a ladder on top of Takeshita. Uh, slams Mark Briscoe slams his body onto the ladder onto Takeshita through the table. Uh, looked like Takeshita had kind of some pain in his arm from that.
That
Uh,
looked rough. That looked real rough for Mark and Takeshita. I wouldn't want to
um,
be on either side of that.
no, I like how Taz called that Sabu style.
Yeah.
Totally was. Um, at one point, El Phantasmo and Dante Martin get pushed off the ladder, and Dante Martin looked like he hurt his same leg that he broke in the other ladder match, but he was just selling really good, man. He's had me fooled twice in the match. He's doing real good on that selling. Mark Briscoe climbs on a ladder on it was on the apron, right? And he dives like on the opposite side over the turnbuckle, uh tries to land on Jack Perry, comes up short. The table doesn't break. He gets a little bit on that, but man, that could have went really bad. He could have pulled a
Mhm.
Adam Copeland for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
they even mentioned that.
yeah. Man, yeah. It would have looked really cool if he landed it. Uh, then at one point, Takeshita power bombs Leo Rush or gives him the last ride onto a ladder, and that ladder just folded in on itself, just smushed it like it was made of aluminum foil. Yeah, Leo Rush took some bumps, I'll tell you. Uh, and then uh, El Phantasmo gets kneed by Takeshita. They end up on the apron. Takeshita blue thunder bombs El Phantasmo through two tables from the apron onto the floor. Then he climbs into the ring, climbs up the ladder, and the crowd is going crazy. They're like, "All right, after that Blue Thunder bomb, you earned that puppy." I think they should have called an audible right then and there, dude.
Yeah. I know they're telling a story with the Elite getting all the gold, but just give him another belt. There's so
Yeah,
many belts in AEW. Give him the international belt. I don't care. Like
yeah,
that was such a like.
yeah,
I'll talk about it later. I'll let you
yeah.
finish.
Have him take the one off Monet.
But I
Yeah.
get what they were. I get that what they were planning with the booking of this match, with who stopped Takeshita and then who stopped. I mean, Jack Perry stopped Mark Briscoe, but I get what they were thinking. But the crowd was reacting differently.
Mhm. Uh, Mark Briscoe hits Takeshita with a chair, and the entire arena goes silent. Like literally, everybody just was like, the air went out of the room. Uh, yeah, it was a cringe moment for me, honestly. I love Mark Briscoe, but man, that was the wrong call. Mark Briscoe gives Takeshita a J driller into a ladder. Then Jack Perry takes out Mark Briscoe uh, and with a chair. Yep, yep. And then it grabs the belt. Oh God, we all knew it was coming, but man, like I said, they should have changed that outcome right then and the dude. You know Tony Khan heard that
You're right.
reaction. Dude, Takeshita earned that puppy. But yeah, mm, Jack Perry won.
Yeah. Um. So my first note for this match came from when Takeshita hit a brainbuster to I want to say Briscoe on a ladder. I just went, Jesus Christ, Takeshita already. Like this match just started, but he's fantastic. I mean, he wasn't the only thing great about this match. I loved the bit where El Phantasmo ran up the ladder and then ran up the ladder bridge to get onto the ladder. I think he saw like Jack Perry or something. I thought that was a fun little spot. I love Dante Martin's drop kick through the ropes. I thought that was excellent.
Yeah,
But now it's just a gush about Takeshita. Holy shit! Why are you booking? Like, why are you pushing this guy? Push him to the moon. Push him to the moon. I mean,
yeah,
even commentary was talking about it. I've been saying it for weeks or months now, where Takeshita will get booed when he comes out because boo Don Callis, boo he's a heel, and then the crowd will go, oh wait, yeah, this guy's great, and he might not get like cheered more than say Osprey, because obviously it's Osprey's going to get cheered more, or say Swerve, because I remember Swerve and Takeshita at that Dynamite match. I love that match, and that was to get Swerve to Dynasty to fight Joe. Obviously, he's not going to get cheered more, but he was getting cheered as much or with him. And then this match, like you said, that crowd was going ape shit for Takeshita. But their mindset was, oh, well, heel's gonna get it. They're gonna get booed, and then Briscoe's gonna go for it. He's gonna get cheered like a hero, and then Jack Perry will steal it. But like everyone was like, "Oh, Takeshi's gonna do it. Fuck yeah!" And then Briscoe like did it, and they were like, "Oh, well, Briscoe's not gonna win." So it's like they knew it was gonna be Jack
Yeah.
Perry. And this, I know Jack Perry is kind of a. What is Jack Perry's character? Is he a chicken shit heel, or is he a I'm gonna be a blood sweat fighting guy? What is he? Because he was booked like a
Oh,
chicken
no.
shit heel in this, but he's supposed to be a valiant. Like that's how he cuts his promos, and
Yeah.
admittedly, those are some of his best promos that he's cut. Is he's like, "Oh, I've had to fight way harder than most people to stay in this company," which that was a good promo, but I don't buy it. I don't buy it, especially after this match. Like, I think if you wanted people to kind of get behind Jack Perry, you
He should
needed
have
to
earned
have
it.
what?
He said, he should have earned it.
Yeah, he should have like done a little bit more in the match. You shouldn't have given Takesh like. What's the point of giving Takeshita all these like amazing moments and not doing anything? I get like you said in an interview, or you said he said in an interview where he doesn't really have fun wrestling in America. I'm like, I get it. Just send him to WWE, have him wrestle Gunther, and I can die. I can die happy. If I'm not kidding, if I don't get to
That
see
would be a good
Takeshita
match.
Gunther at some point in my life, I'ma cry. But like that would be such a good match. That would be so good. But I kind of just babbled. How'd you feel about it, Chad?
I love it. I love. It's funny. Okay, I always really enjoy their multi-man matches, but never quite to the same pitch as I do say Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
They Money in the Bank always just has those little like they tell the stories a little more just like better and like they have all those like little mini stories going on. But like the bumps, the action are super second to none. Like that stuff is insane. Um, yeah, I think that had Jack Perry worked for it a little more and didn't just do the chicken shit heel, I'm gonna lay down here and then grab it at the end sort of thing. I probably would have loved that outcome a lot more because now it's like, yeah, I'm not invested now. Like
Yeah.
it was like you had one chance. You had one chance to get me there. Like even if instead of have Mark Briscoe, if he was the one that hit Takeshita with the chair, he would have got heat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
they
And
should have cut
he
that
now he
whole
doesn't
thing
really have
out.
like now he doesn't have heat because he's just the dude who just kind of played dead on the floor and then got it at the end. Boring.
yeah, I mean, I just there was no like inner rivalries in this
No.
match. No one was really like against each other.
Yeah,
Maybe it was
no
like
allies.
no, like nothing. So
Well, technically, I'd say Dante and Leo had their little like history. They had their moment on the top of the ladder where they looked at each other and like they even mentioned like, oh, they used to be
I guess
friends or whatever. But yeah, that
the
was it
pro
though.
the problem with that, and Chad made a comparison to Money in the Bank, which might be a little unfair because it's a completely different thing. Like Money in the Bank is like a really unique and interesting concept, and this is I don't want to say just a ladder match for a title, but it's just a ladder match for a title. But look at this Money in the Bank they're about to have. It's Jay Uso, Chad Gable, LA Knight, Andrade. There's other
True.
people. Drew McIntyre, and then there's a sixth guy. I can't. Oh, Carmelo Hayes. So you got six pretty good wrestlers in that feud, and maybe not all of them are feuding with each other, but a lot of people are like, well, Logan Paul can cost LA Knight, CM Punk can cost Drew McIntyre, the Wyatt Six can cost Chad Gable. So you theoretically have a really interesting and impactful Money in the Bank just from the feuds that these people have outside of this Money in the Bank match. Whereas like the Elite didn't come out. Why didn't the Elite come out? Wouldn't that have been fun if like they came out and like what if Okada cost Takeshita? You set up
Yeah.
Takeshita
Ooh.
Okada and like yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
What if the
Huh.
Bucks cost Dante Martin? So you set up Top Flight versus the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
What if Kyle Fletcher cost Mark Briscoe? And now you set up Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe for the Ring of Honor title. Like you didn't really set up anything. It was
Yeah.
just Well, Jack
Yeah, or
Perry
they
was
do that with the Royal Rumble too. Like all these like little mini stories that, now the next 2-3 months, all these guys have something to do now.
yeah, like we all knew Jack Perry was gonna win this, and that's all that happened. Was not all that happened. There was some incredible spots, but at the end of the day, that's all it was incredible spots.
Yeah, good point, man. They could have set up a lot of stuff. I really like
Yeah.
Takeshita Okada.
And I
Yeah, it's
and
like
I,
the Continental Classic. Like coming out of that, we had like months of storylines for that. And
the
yeah,
rise
it's
of
just we could
Swerve,
do
the
the same
rise
thing.
of Daniel Garcia, the redemption of Jay Lethal on Rampage, like it all happened. But and I don't want to sound like too negative. I did really enjoy this match. It was a really fun match,
Yeah.
mostly because they let Takeshita do crazy Takeshita things. But this, and especially the next match, the ending really sucked the air out of me for like a while. And like it kind of made me negative about like I'll say up until now, up until Jack Perry winning, I was quite a fan of this pay-per-view. There wasn't really any duds. There was just one disappointing match to start, and then the worst thing I could say about a match was a popcorn match.
Yeah.
But then you kind of get to like some really disappointing endings.
Yeah. Um, it was a lot of big bumps, a lot of big spots. Um, had a lot of fun, but the ending, yeah, just took the air out of it. Um, cool. What do we got coming up next? Title
Oh,
for title. TBS champion versus New Japan Women's Strong champion, Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vaquer. Um, I gotta say, man, Stephanie Vaquer is something special. Like she is now my favorite female wrestler on the planet. She made Mercedes look like a chump.
I would agree. I have not. You guys have done your homework and gone out and found some Stephanie Vaquer matches. I was just like, I'll wait for the pay per view. And I 100% agree with you too. Stephanie Vaquer. Maybe she's not my favorite women's wrestler on the planet, but holy crap,
Very
she's
good.
fantastic. And all of my notes about this match are, wow, look at this great Stephanie Vaquer thing. Wow, look at this great Stephanie Vaquer. Wow, look at this. Like, it's all about Stephanie Vaquer. I have one little snide comment about Monet, which I'll get into because it's just kind of like a silly joke, but everything else is, wow, that Stephanie Vaquer chick really is good.
Hmm. Yeah, she's that damn good. Yeah, right off the bat, right when the bell rings, Stephanie Vaquer headbutts Monet right away. Vaquer arm drags Monet, and does kind of a Ray Fenix like little rope work, little hopping on it, and doing that kind of thing. I really liked that. Monet gives Vaquer a Meteora in the ring. Vaquer springboards on Monet on the outside from the ring to the floor. That looked pretty brutal, and the landing was perfect. She hit Monet perfectly, and you heard that thud on
Yeah.
the mat. Oh, it was nice. Vaquer ends up kicking Monet, kicking her face in the corner and just scraping her boot over her face over and over and over. Vaquer drives Mercedes' head into the mat with Mercedes' head vice gripped between her knees. Uh, Man,
That
whew,
looked
the crowd.
cool.
That was when the crowd was like, "Oh, like this is what we're getting." Okay. Uh, Pretty much at that point, the crowd starts chanting Stephanie. Uh, and then we get not only fuck the Celtics, but a little later, fuck the Red Sox.
Hmm. Well, that
Uh,
came from, and you could see him standing up. There was a guy on the hard, like on the section that the camera was facing,
yeah.
wearing a Celtics shirt, and so
Hmm.
they were kind of booing them. And then I
Yeah.
think they went like, "Wait a
Yeah.
minute,
Oh, she's from Boston too.
yeah, so we can boo her." and boo Boston, which I think it was also like the Stephanie Vaquer is so good, we'll just start booing her. So I'll get that little in. Like it's not like they were kind of 50-50 in the beginning, and then it was a mix of the Stephanie Vaquer doing so great and that Celtics guy that kind of turned the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. At this point, they both go to kip up, but Mercedes can't do it. That looked pretty pathetic. I'm not gonna lie. She tried to
Look,
play it off.
I'll play devil's advocate here. I'm sure if we all tried to kip up, it'd be worse than what Monet did, but it
We
didn't
don't
look
get paid
great.
millions of dollars to do that.
Yeah, it's true. So it definitely wasn't making. It definitely didn't hurt, or it definitely didn't help Monet.
No, no, it didn't. They both get back-to-back cross-face locks on each other. At this point, the crowd is firmly behind Stephanie. Monet gives Vaquer two backstabbers. The crowd is booing Monet loudly. Vaquer gives Monet a brutal dragon screw, then a running knee in the corner. Vaquer blocks the moneymaker, but Monet is able to give Vaquer one anyway, and then a crossface, formerly called the bank statement, right?
Yeah.
Formally, yeah.
And Vaquer ends up tapping. Monet wins. Uh, when Monet is celebrating in the ring, all of a sudden we hear Britt Baker's music. And on the ramp, Britt Baker returning. DMD versus CEO. Give it to me. Um, God, but I already know what's gonna happen. Uh,
Yeah.
Mercedes Monet revealed in an interview that she has full creative control over her
I thought that
character.
was I thought that was really funny that she would just admit that, and you can see in her what four,
Yeah.
5 matches she's had in AEW, she's picked up 2 titles. So I think we got a new Hulk Hogan brother. But yeah, so not just I'll start with my snide comment. When Monet was doing a Three Amigos, I was like, man, Logan Paul does a better Three Amigos. And they mentioned the stupid Eddie Guerrero shit, which like I get it. Eddie Guerrero inspired her. I'm so sick of hearing how Eddie Guerrero inspired Monet. I think I've like gone off about this where like every single match she would have in WWE, they'd be like her mentor and idol, Eddie Guerrero, and it's like I get it. Eddie Guerrero was great. I'm not saying anything bad against him. You don't got to bring it up in every single match. So when they bring it up, even like once, I'm like, stop it, just stop it. I don't care. Um, but Vaquer, so good. Where she had like Monet's head in her knees and was slamming her in the mat,
It was
that
gold.
could be the finish. Like,
Yeah. How did her nose not get broken?
I think if they put Stephanie Vaquer like in AEW or WWE, that should be like a submission. Like she
Yeah.
just does that until they tap. I think that would be an excellent like kind of like the torture rack kind of. Um,
The ref would have to stop it.
Yeah, or like how Wardlow would powerbomb people until they like the ref was like, "All right, you're done." Like, just do
Yeah.
that. It's fantastic. It looks great.
Stop it. Stop it. She's already dead.
I loved how Vaquer looks so great. She basically like rolled up Monet and then like transitioned that into a crossface. That was excellent. Um, I loved Vaquer rolling through to pick up Monet. That's always a cool spot to see. So to see
Yeah.
her do it looked great. And then she hit that fantastic dragon screw you talked about, and then Monet just won. And like not to be too negative, hopefully the Britt Baker Monet match is good, but I mean Baker's just gonna lose at Wembley and then he'll probably go away again. So
But I have to put Baker over though. She looked like $1,000,000.
oh yeah, she looked
She had
great.
abs, man. Like, wow. She been putting in some work.
was definitely exciting to see her, but it's like it's one of those like, oh wow, that's so cool, Britt Baker, and then it's like, oh wait, he's fighting Monet, and Monet has complete creative control.
Maybe she'll do the right thing, man. Make Britt Baker the first ever women's champion and TBS.
Maybe, and then maybe Takeshita will win the Owen Hart tournament. Maybe he's the wild card, brother. We didn't think about that.
Is he part of the elite now?
Maybe. But yeah, so that was 2 deflating ends in a row for me. So I was pretty disappointed. And then we got the best match of the night, baby. But before we get into that, can I say something else kind of snarky? So they announced, I don't know if they announced it like before, but they talked about Wrestle Dynasty, which is a New Japan show, which is their Forbidden Door. And it's got AEW, CMLL, Stardom, of course, New Japan. And then they got Ring of
And
Honor
Ring
in
of
there.
Honor. Yeah.
I was like,
Like it's two separate things.
what's Blood doing in there? That's like if WWE did a big old like with because there's kind of like two sides of the wrestling world now. There's the AEW and New Japan and CMLL and blah blah blah, and then there's this WWE side because they've worked with TNA, they worked with Marigold, they worked with Noah, and then they've been working with Bloodsport. So you can kind of like have those two sides. It'd be like if WWE did a crossover event and they were like in NXT 2.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm sure it'll be a great event. I don't want to poo-poo it, but it's also like what's Blood doing in there? What like Ring of Honor's not on the same caliber, bro. Like don't even like what Ring of Honor talent is gonna be there? Queen Amina or is Athena gonna be in there? Then yeah, that would be cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Outrunners.
Okay, if Athena and the Outrunners are on that show, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to like I'm sure I'm not poo-pooing the event. I think it's a great idea. It's gonna be a great show. But why was Ring of Honor in the mix?
Yeah. I don't like the name. That's confusing. There's already an AEW Dynasty.
Yeah, there's well, this is Wrestle Dynasty. This is
Yeah.
different. It's
Yep.
like Wrestle Dream, Wrestle Dynasty.
But yeah, this next match, I think it sucked.
Yeah, I would agree.
It was
Yeah.
garbage. Like,
I would
what
agree.
happened, man? Where was the match that they kept using in the video package of Moxley winning the belt? Where's that match with the blood and the big move after big move after big move? Uh, yeah, man. John Moxley defending the IWGP Championship against Naito. We did get JR on commentary. We got Red
Oh
Shoes.
man.
This is a world title match, to be fair. So
Yeah, yeah. We got Red Shoes reffing. Yeah, slow, clunky. Moxley was easily frustrated. Moxley backdrops Naito on the Spanish announce table. Naito barely beats the 20 count. Moxley gives Naito a stalling pile driver for a 2 count. Naito pushes Moxley off the top rope onto the floor. Naito spears Moxley into the announce desk, knocking over, I think, a cameraman, pinning him under Moxley. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what are they doing? Like, right in front of JR? Like, he's hitting him with the foam, and the cameraman's like, come on, like on the floor. And Nigel's protecting JR, like holding in front of him. Like, that made me cringe so bad. It was so bad when that happened. Uh, let's see. Naito hits Moxley with a El Destino. Then Moxley hits Naito with a Paradigm Shift. Moxley lariats Naito, then gives him a Death Rider. Moxley covers, but Naito kicks out at 2. Moxley's really mad at this point, so he grabs a chair and tries to paradigm shift Naito into it, but Red Shoes gets rid of the chair. Naito hits Moxley with another Destino for the win. New IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
I'm gonna
Ugh.
give I'm gonna give praise to this match. Okay, I liked red pants or red shoes as referee. I liked that little change up. And most of the time, AEW referees just feel like chumps. But he stood up to Moxley. Of all
Yeah,
people to stand up to, Moxley's a scary guy to stand up to, so good for him. And again, I also kind of listened to Wrestling Observer Radio for a little bit of information on this match. Um, I don't think this was Moxley's fault. Um, I think it was Naito's because even they were like, I think Naito's just kind of wrecked and like old,
that's
and
fair.
so like it just kind of sucks. I do think it's really funny that we were all like, Naito should win, and people are like, he shouldn't win, and then he won.
Yeah,
Well, like
yeah.
they kind of did give it away because
They did,
they
but
had
like, I love Moxley. Love, love, love him. Like, loved him as Dean Ambrose. Loved him in the Shield. Loved him when he was on his own. When he came out and attacked, and like, especially when he put Kenny Omega through the glass table on that first episode of Dynamite, or was that on the pay per view? I can't remember. It's too long ago. I'm old. Like, I'm like, I am hitching my bandwagon to this guy, and yeah, he needs a reset or something right now, though.
again, I don't blame this on him. I don't think this was his fault. Like I haven't been a big fan of him as of recently, but I wouldn't put this on him honestly. So only the only note I had for this match was, man, he looks as bored as I am. So I'm like, Naito was like going for a move, and he just kind of froze. Like he just stopped, and Moxley was like, "Are you gonna do it?" And then
Go on.
he kicked him in the gut. Like so, at least Moxley's like trying to like play catch up, but like I don't know, like the ending was just Naito hit a move and won. Like I was shocked he just won clean.
Yeah.
So at least the belt's back in New Japan. We
Yeah.
got
Mhm.
what we wanted, but well, again, it's crazy because uh, Tony Khan was doing like an interview, and he was like, "Oh, we'll have Moxley for the whole summer," and someone was like, "Well, didn't you hear that Naito said if Moxley wins, he'll give him a spot in the G1?" And Tony Khan was kind of like, so like they were kind of giving it away that Moxley was gonna lose, but I don't
Eh,
I don't know who I don't know because I don't watch New Japan. I don't know who should have taken the belt off of Moxley. Um, should it have been Naito? I don't know.
I don't know. Everybody that was in New Japan that should have beat Moxley are all in AEW now.
Yeah. So I don't know
Yeah.
what to say.
Yeah, yeah. New Japan's kind of in a rebuilding phase right now. Like they didn't kind of like WWE did back then. They didn't build no new talent, and now everybody's either old, hurt, or left.
Yeah, and now luckily they have plenty of younger or talent that are just kind of running around the card. Like you got huge stars like Drew McIntyre, Cody, CM
Yeah,
Punk, Seth Rollins just came back. You got newer talent like Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, Chad Gable, even like not newer talent, but like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. They're not having full blown career resurgences, but they're like constantly on the up and up.
yeah,
And then the Bloodline just had their excellent segment on SmackDown. Poor Paul Heyman.
yeah.
That got me emotional. I'll be
Oh
honest.
man. Yeah, I read like he didn't even sleep the night before, so he had like the bloodshot eyes. Like, yeah, he a 58-year-old man gave himself to that bit.
So they're on their own kind of path right now, and New Japan kind of needs to do that, which means they'll have a couple bad years, but
Yeah,
you put your faith into these young guys, like people like Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns, or you give them their dues. Eventually, they'll turn it around. Like Roman Reigns, it took a while, but
yeah.
then he elevated himself so quickly up the roster. Seth Rollins has always been great. He just kind of has ebbs and flows.
Gotcha.
Can we talk about the good match now?
Yeah, we're at our main event finally. Um, but yeah, as far as the pay-per-view timing and pacing, like you said, Chad, it was like, oh, we're at the main event.
Yeah.
Cool. Like it went really quick. So yeah, this match was something special. Um, I'm gonna call it my match of the year so far. Um, Swerve defending the AEW World Championship against Will Ospreay. We get a really cool video package for Ospreay before his entrance. He's wearing a mask to tribute. I can't remember his name. One of his heroes. Um, and he's dedicated the match to his grandmother who passed away um, like days ago, I think. So yeah, looking cool on that video package. Great entrance. He's got that crowd in the palm of his hand when the chorus hits for his intro. Uh, yeah, it's really good. Then we got someone named Jim Jones.
I think he's a
Uh,
rapper, like a New
introducing.
York rapper.
Okay. He introduces Swerve. Both men get incredible crowd reactions. Um, Man, this felt like a big match. They both kind of, stared at each other, took a little extra time to let the crowd really soak it in and everyone at home to get that big feel because it was really big match. Both men land on their feet after Hurricane Rana attempts. The crowd's already losing their shit. Osprey springboards on Swerve from the inside of the ring to the floor. Swerve hits Osprey with his top rope uppercut, then three neck breakers, one on the ropes. Osprey gives Swerve a Hurricane Rana off the barricade. Uh, let's see. Osprey hits a Styles Clash on Swerve for a 2 count.
Oh,
Uh,
oh, you're underselling it. He hit him with a power bomb, tried to pin him, Swerve kicked out, so he picked him up and did a Styles Clash.
Yeah, I don't think I've really ever seen a Styles Clash out of nowhere before. That was insane.
So, yeah, I really do like that Osprey's picked up the Styles Clash, and I think he does it excellently.
so clearly that move is named after AJ Styles.
Well, yeah, it
Did
was
he
his
invent
move.
it?
Yeah.
Like he invented it?
Mhm.
Okay. And I don't know. I feel like it's a little weird that they're able to like call it that or willing to call it that. Just like would WWE call like the Omega cutter, or something weird like that? Like I don't know if they would do that.
I get what you're saying. I think you could make an argument based on like your insider knowledge, I guess. They would never make this like argument on air, but you could say like the Styles Clash is a bit of an odd move because you
Hmm.
sell it the opposite way you typically sell moves. Like that's why a lot of people were like, I don't think AJ when he comes to WWE will be able to use it because a lot of people get injured because a lot of people just don't know how to use it because you bump the opposite way. Like I can't really remember, but like you're supposed
Yeah,
to
you're
like,
supposed to tuck your chin for most bumps. That one you have to do the other way.
which doesn't make sense because your head is like going towards the apron, but that's how you're supposed to take it. So you can make that argument like, if you want to take it and not die, you have to do something different, which is kind of like Styles clashing. I don't know. Or they could just be like, yes, AJ Styles used it in TNA, and when Osprey was in TNA, he picked it up. You
Yeah.
could
Okay,
just you
that
could
makes
just say that.
sense. um, let's see. Uh, they showed Daniel Garcia up in the nosebleed section,
Terrible
I
watching.
love
camera. Terrible camera work right there. They cut
Yep,
that out way
terrible.
too early.
But
Yep.
I love Daniel Garcia. He looked like such a bad bitch.
Yeah.
He was just like he looked so cool. I love Daniel Garcia.
Swerve dodges an Cutter on the apron, and Osprey ends up hitting the apron really hard. Swerve stomps Osprey from the top rope into the Spanish announce desk. Uh, Mind blowing because all they show is Swerve, and you don't even know where Osprey was, and he just takes the leap, and Osprey had to like jump up a little bit to like land on the desk, like insane. I can't even. Ugh. Uh, yeah,
Yeah, all the stuff was still on the desk. They didn't like brush it off or nothing. That looked rough.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Dude, he jumped so far. Then Swerve gives Osprey a pile driver on the barricade. Uh, Swerve goes for a stomp, but Osprey knocks him off balance. Uh, then gives him an avalanche cutter. Then one in the ring and covers Swerve, but he kicks out. Swerve blocks a hidden blade. Swerve gets another cutter and a Stormbreaker, and he's able to kick out. Then they show MJF watching on backstage.
Live. It was
Uh,
a live shot of MJF reacting backstage, right?
yeah. Let's see. Osprey goes for the Tiger Driver 91, but Swerve counters. Uh, Man, what did he counter into? I can't remember.
He
Uh,
rolled through to hit his own hidden blade.
Yeah, it was incredible.
oh my
Mhm.
God. Yeah. Let's see. At one point, Don Callis comes in. He wants to give Osprey the screwdriver to use on Swerve after a ref bump. Uh, Prince Nana knocks over Don Callis, and Osprey kind of gets really mad and wants to stab Nana, but he comes to his senses and doesn't do it. Um, let's see.
That wasn't a
Uh,
bad spot, but that might be the weirdest spot of the match.
Yeah.
And I'll get into that, but like it wasn't bad. It was just like, oh, I didn't know you cared about Don Callis that much.
yeah, right. Uh, so at that point, after not deciding to stab a man, he then wants to go ahead and use the Tiger Driver 91 uh, on Swerve. Uh, uh, let's see. Then Will Ospreay got back in the ring. Swerve was waiting for him though, and hit him with a house call. Uh, and Swerve tried to do the Swerve stomp. Aubrey Edwards jumped in the ring to count the pin, but Osprey kicked out at a 2 count. Oh yeah, at one point Osprey had Swerve pinned after the ref bump, like 5-6 seconds.
Because
Um,
Osprey killed that ref. He smashed him with the hidden blade.
Yeah.
It's
yeah, dude,
crazy.
got him good. Uh, Swerve was able to do his little arm breaker on Will Ospreay's arm. Swerve hit the house call. Um, and then Swerve covered Osprey. Osprey kicked out again. Uh, Osprey was at this point staggering and fell down at Swerve's feet. Swerve hit Osprey with another house call, and Swerve hit big pressure and won the match. I did like the part too where he picked up Osprey and patted him on the head.
Hmm.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, it was
Whew.
emotional at the end. That was for me, like the match was fantastic. The action was amazing. but the selling at the end was like that really made me feel something.
Man, maybe this is my favorite match of the night. I don't know. It's so hard because I love that Zack.
There's different reasons. It's like 1A, 1B, the more I think about it.
Because it's like when we talk about I think the Zack Sabre Jr. match or the main event match, because I think TNT title match is number 3 for me, because that one was excellent until the ending.
Yeah.
These two matches were excellent all throughout. So now we're just kind of comparing the two. My goodness, this match, and you just going through all those spots, I was remembering more spots, and they also had a really good story to tell. I just don't know, because I loved, like, even from the start, Osprey had a fantastic entrance. Swerve always has a fantastic entrance,
His
especially as the
gear, holy
Yeah.
crap.
I
Yeah.
liked how he had his typical tights, and then he had like basketball shorts over it. I liked how they said United States of Swerve. I thought that was pretty neat.
He had like sneakers on too.
Mhm. Was it the Young Bucks Reeboks available now on Adidas on ReebokShop.com?
Should have
Um,
been Brody Lee shoes.
that would be funny. I loved how Osprey went for an Os cutter and then Swerve stomped him. That was stupid. Uh, I loved how again he was gonna hit the Tiger Driver, but Swerve rolled through and hit his own hidden blade, which looked fantastic. I loved all of the 4 house calls we got during this match. I thought all of them looked killer. And again, just the ending where Osprey was staggering, but he still tried to hit another hidden blade, and like because he's so done, he's so
Yeah.
spent, it just kind of like dudded into Swerve, and he picked him up, and he was just kind of patting him, and then he
Good
put him
night.
down. And
Yeah.
again,
And I'm sorry. Swerve too, like amazing wrestler, but he also has these like little moments where he just does these like little things, like when they were doing the hockey fight. And then when he went right before the big one, he just kind of gave him a little slap, like pat on the cheek, and then just boom, annihilates him. Like he was just doing these tiny little things that I was like, oh shit, he's hitting another level. Like he's even like, if he keeps getting this trajectory, I think he's gonna be like Osprey. Like he'll be in that conversation of best wrestler in the world.
yeah, I think this match, it's the best. Obviously, it's the best Swerve has looked since his reign has started. And not that like beating Joe and beating Christian didn't mean anything, because those were big people to beat and those were great matches in of themselves. But Osprey is just on another level right now. And Swerve beating him, I'll say 99% cleanly, because yeah, there was a ref bump, but I think it was Osprey's fault.
Yeah,
Osprey was going too
yeah,
crazy and he
yeah.
hit the ref.
Osprey was the one holding the screwdriver. Like he won despite all that stuff.
Yeah. So, and then there was still a little sports entertainment chicanery. I love my sports entertainment. And so having Nana out there pushing Callis over, I thought that was great. And then, like, again, it's not a bad bit, but Osprey, like, oh, I'm gonna do it, bro. I'm gonna kill you with just might. Like, I didn't think he was, and you could argue, like, oh, it was just the adrenaline or whatever.
Yeah,
I didn't think he cared that much about Don Callis, quite frankly. But yeah, just a fantastic ending to a fantastic match, and uh one of the best AEW main events I've seen.
yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah. I really like too how it took a second for Osprey to kind of come to. And it's just like, oh, like
yeah.
what happened? And then like
He hears the music. He's like, fuck.
Yeah. I like
he's
how it wasn't. Oh, sorry.
he's almost in tears. And Swerve, bends down and presumably tells him like, nothing, it was nothing personal, it's just business. Like,
Mhm.
oh my God. Like, because they're friends. Like,
Yeah. Major kudos to Ospreys in this match. Again, even in the predictions, which we'll get to. Don't you forget about those.
Ooh.
But I thought Osprey was going to win this and take that belt to Wembley. So I think this is the most I've been interested in
Yeah,
Osprey since he signed with AEW, because it's great when people win and have these, heroic victories and whatnot. But I think it's even more
yeah,
interesting when people lose, and then you
yeah.
ask, well, what do they do with themselves now? Like,
Exactly.
what is an Osprey who's just won or lost his first match in all of his AEW
Yeah,
career? He just lost his first match. How does he go against Daniel Garcia on
yeah.
Dynamite?
What happens? Like he was exhausted. He was beat down at the end of that.
Mhm.
What if? what if all of a sudden he's got no belts, two in a row? That's good storytelling. Like,
Are we gonna see more of Daniel Garcia in 2024,
right?
baby?
Is like Cody losing at 39. Like he needed the adversity. It made 40 that much better.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
John Cena, Jey Uso, and The Undertaker gonna help Will Ospreay win? Is that gonna happen? Another small but really good touch. I like how it was just Kyle Fletcher. I didn't Don Callis, but just Kyle
Yeah.
Fletcher that came out. I mean, Powerhouse Hobbs is still injured. Takeshita lost earlier in the match. Took a lot of punishment, but like getting Trent out there would have just kind of been weird because
Yeah.
Trent Beretta has no connection to Will Ospreay. But you got one of Ospreay's closest friends out there, and Kyle Fletcher kind of comforting him, and I think that was a really nice little touch.
Yeah. 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 I looking forward to Mark Davis coming back. Uh, I mean, that's probably got to be imminent. I'd really hope. Like that was Wrestle Dream in October.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
There's a lot of people who are injured, and like the timeline isn't really adding up. And of course, injuries can take longer, like things can go wrong. But I think the biggest one here is Jamie Hayter. I remember her being injured at Double or Nothing, and then I remember hearing 6 to 9 months. So obviously missing that year's All In. But we're a month past Double or
Yeah.
Nothing. We're 13 months past. So if she's still recovering, she's still recovering. But she's got to come back soon.
Gosh, I hope
yeah.
so.
A lot of people are pitching her to fight Toni Storm at Wembley, even though they've already said the winner of the Owen Hart tournament will fight
Yeah.
Toni Storm at Wembley.
Maybe she's the wild card, brother.
There is no wild card, brother.
No, maybe she's gonna beat Jeff Jarrett. Maybe it's gonna be her and Swerve
Oh,
Strickland.
oh,
She could
Jamie
do
Hayter
it.
beating Brian
She could
Danielson.
do it.
Okay, Well, is there anything else y'all want to say about the card, or are we ready for the prediction
I
result?
just have one note, just a general comment. Now I've just had some time to think because I feel like I've come off as pretty critical of the show throughout. Like I've had some nitpicks and negative things, but as a whole, I really enjoyed it. It went by. Like I said, if you're gonna like at this point, Tony Khan's like, I'm giving you a 4 hour show. Like that's what it is. At least 4 hours. And if you're gonna do it, they should all be paced like this. Every time I'm like, oh, when you hear like he gets up into double digits, and then all of a sudden it's like with the pre-show 15 matches, I was like, oh no, that actually kind of worked because there weren't a lot of like half-hour snooze fests. It was like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Like I was like, oh yeah, no, because all of a sudden it was like we were at the main card and I didn't feel like it. So all in all, it was a really good one. It's just I hold AEW to a very high standard. So when I'm being critical of it, it's because I know they can live up to that standard. That's all.
Yeah, I
Any
agree.
final statements, Dave?
Yeah, overall, even though the Naito match, Moxley Naito, I despised that match. Um, it was still. Oh, I did want to add, my favorite part of the match was Moxley's entrance with the
That song
with
was dope.
Yeah.
with the New Japan theme. That was cool. But yeah, I mean, we can blame it on Naito.
Or the
I'm okay
ring.
with that. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
I
Maybe
I would
Michael Nakazawa got some oil in there or something.
be oiled up the ropes. I would say I agree with you too. I might have sounded critical too, but it's about stuff that I've kind of been critical about for a while, like Monet and Jack Perry. I'm just not interested in them. So them winning big matches where I don't really think they deserve to win because they're not the best performer in that match. It's not adding up to the booking we've been getting and the
Yeah.
story they've been telling. But you take away one outright stinker, one disappointing match for me personally, and then two bad endings. Every other match was good to fantastic.
Yeah.
Like good to match of the year, which is what there's two match of the year candidates with like beginning to end perfect booking on this card. It's rare to have that, but you
Yeah.
have two, the main event and then the Zack Sabre Jr. Orange Cassidy match. So I would agree with you guys. A really good show, just some bumps.
Yeah.
But speaking of bumps,
Ooh.
I know I'm gonna take one because coming in at dead last, I think this is a personal like lowest score I've ever gotten, 22 points. But
Wow.
that comes from I went all in on Takeshita, which I didn't think he was gonna win, but it's Takeshita. I literally can't
Yeah,
not
it's like
go
Tony
all.
Storm. You always go all in on Tony Storm.
Yeah, I thought Osprey was gonna win, so that hurt me. And then a lot of I didn't think Britt Baker was gonna come back. I thought Ricochet was gonna debut. So just some of that stuff brought me down. Coming in at second place with 27 points, we have the Daver.
Oh, Chad, you
Yeah.
won.
I
And number
never win
one,
these things.
we got Chadley. As always, I counted these up 3 times just to triple check, but again, I think what separated Mr. Chad was you went all in on Naito and Dave didn't. Um, let's see. Uh, Dave, like me, split his vote on the Hechicero match where him and I both kind of wanted Hechicero win. You went all in on MJF. It's just kind of you went all in on a lot of stuff, and you did better in the prop bets on the end.
Weird. I never get those.
I think the prop bets killed me.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Britt Baker one helped.
You thought Mariah May would turn. You thought Swerve would turn. You thought Hangman Adam Page would return, and all of those didn't happen. But Britt Baker did
Yeah.
happen, and I didn't think
Yep.
that would happen. So,
Yeah.
but that's another
Interesting.
pay-per-view in the books as we take the kind of long road because we've had pretty short gaps between these AEW pay.
Yeah.
I feel like every single AEW pay-per-view, it's been like, oh crap, they're a week away. I didn't even realize they're like, we're starting to get ready for predictions, and I'm like, oh, already? So, we've got a little bit of a ways till all in, but how you guys feeling?
Good. Yeah, I'm actually kind of looking forward to this longer gap because this is a huge pay-per-view coming up. What are they shooting for 50,000, I think, this year? And that's still a massive crowd. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, let's build some stories. Let's have some fun. How you guys feeling about it?
I'm looking forward to a lot of people in that arena. I don't know if they book the right card, man, they could do more than 50.
Yeah.
Put a Goldberg retirement match on there. Those Brits love that stuff.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
these
the Owen will
legends.
spice it up. We should have
Yeah,
some good build.
that's something I was gonna say is I really like how the Owen Hart tournaments, both for the men and the women, are actually building towards big title matches. So that kind of spices up at least the wait in between. You know, uh, Forbidden Door and All In. And then potential matches. I think we'll get Swerve and Danielson. I think we'll get Tony Storm and Mariah May. I think we'll get Osprey and MJF, which are all pretty good matches. And then beyond that, it's for Tony Khan to surprise us. So hopefully he's got some. We're gonna have a big multi-man match. We're gonna have the Young Bucks, probably the Young Bucks and the Acclaimed. So yeah, I think we got some good stuff coming.
Like a Darby Allin return.
Ooh.
Something big for him.
Depending on how injured he is. Sting said he'll be at All In.
Nice.
He won't wrestle, but he'll be there. Maybe. What if? All right, who's ready for fantasy booking here? Tony Khan announces the first ever inductee to the AEW Hall of Fame. And it's
Ooh.
Sting.
Yep.
That makes Sting probably the first ever triple Hall of Famer because he's in TNA, WWE, and AEW.
That'd be cool.
And then it would also be because I think Sting was TNA's first Hall of Famer. That would be pretty cool if he was also AEW's first Hall of Famer. And then you could throw people like Owen Hart in there because Owen Hart will never be in the WWE Hall of Fame. So it'd be nice to get him in a Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And then
Jericho.
I was thinking Jericho, but I didn't want to say it.
Dustin Rhodes.
Maybe. He did have a pretty good streak this year. I'll give him that.
He had like 2 wins.
What if they put Cody Rhodes in and they pretend he's dead and they have Dustin Rhodes like accept it on his honor?
That'd be funny.
One of our former
Ooh.
EVPs, Cody, who left the company, will have Dustin Rhodes accept him in on his behalf.
Ooh, they can put Dean Malenko in there.
Oh yeah, he's on their roster.
Yeah,
Or he's
Jerry
a
Lynn.
producer. Jerry Lynn would be good.
They just hired Glacier.
Oh damn.
They could put in a bunch of like ECW guys because WWE isn't really doing it. So they could put in like Sabu. They could put in Sandman.
Taz.
Taz, yeah, Taz. Tommy Dreamer, JR. We forgot about JR. There you go. You got like you're not gonna do all of
Yeah.
them, but that's a
We
pretty
got
good.
a
It's like 3
good
years
crop.
worth of inductions right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think that'd be really great. Get an AEW Hall of Fame.
People have been asking for it for a while, and again, you can do all the people WWE isn't gonna do. So
Yeah.
So Chandler, any plans to watch Money in the Bank?
I'm gonna try to. I'm pretty sure I'm working that night, but maybe I'll watch it the day after. I'm pretty excited. It's mostly just the Money in the Bank matches that are pretty interesting. There's Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn, so that'll be interesting if they pull the gun on him or pull the trigger on him this early. But it's not a bad idea for whoever you want to take that title off of Sammy. Who do you think is going to win the Money in the Banks?
Man, okay. I'm gonna do it like our predictions. I want Drew McIntyre to win. I think main event Jey Uso is gonna win.
I agree. I think there's a lot more poo-housery. Okay, we'll say this. We'll say Drew McIntyre somehow wins it, right? Like CM Punk just isn't there. Like he's asleep. He's just asleep. And then he cashes in, and CM Punk costs him the cash in. That could be good. Or just him winning it with the Money in the Bank is pretty good storytelling because when he lost it due to Damian Priest cashing it in, the next Monday he went, "The Money in the Bank is a piece of crap gimmick. It's for losers who can't win." So it'd be pretty funny if the big old hypocrite Drew won. But I think CM Punk will cost him, and I think Jey Uso will win. But if we're talking about the ladies, I think I have two people I kind of want to win. I think you just say F it. Tiffany Stratton's getting pushed to the moon.
I'm going all in on Stratton.
I think that's a great idea. Or I love the idea of Chelsea Green winning it. And so I think I would pick Chelsea Green, honestly. I think that'll be like you have one big face, Jey Uso winning it. Because you always want to have like one face, one heel win it, even though it's more of a heel problem. I think Jey Uso would be really good with it. Kind of like when Big E won it. And he's kind of like he's threatening, but it's a face threat. He's like, "Ooh, I might."
Yeah.
So that would be pretty good. And then you have the poo housery of Chelsea Green. But she'd have to win. She'd have to win the title. I think failing Money in the Bank cash-ins are the lamest thing ever. And when they do that, it devalues the whole gimmick of the Money in the Bank.
And you're burying the wrestler. Like
yeah.
Name one wrestler that hasn't failed a cash in that's like got really recovered after that.
Damian Sandow never recovered. Baron Corbin recovered now.
Yeah. Like more than a decade?
It took like 5 years.
Yeah, okay.
He got it in 2017, lost it in 2017, and then regained his momentum in NXT this year. Austin Theory, you could say he's kind of got his momentum back, but he's the Marty Jannetty in his tag team right now because Grayson Waller's much more interesting. Anyone else failed? But that's kind of it. That's kind of all you need to say is it took Baron Corbin multiple years. Damian Sandow never recovered, and we're still kind of undetermined if Austin Theory will. What do you think, Dave? Do you think Austin Theory will recover his lost momentum from his failed? Did you ever hear about his failed cash in?
Yeah. He did it on like a lower belt, right?
Okay, he did. It's the worst thing ever. So Roman Reigns was the only champion because
Mhm.
he had both titles. And people are like, well, he's not going to beat Roman Reigns because it's Roman Reigns. And if you have Austin Theory beat him, that's the lamest thing ever. And so they had him do it at like SummerSlam and Clash at the Castle. And every single time, like Brock Lesnar got in the way or Tyson Fury got in the way or something happened. So it was like one night, Bobby Lashley like beat up Seth Rollins, who's the United States champion. Not even the Intercontinental title, it's the United States title. He beat the fuck out of like Seth Rollins. I think he put him through the announce table. And so Austin Theory was like, all right, I'm gonna like cash in on Seth Rollins. At least I'll win this title. And I think Seth Rollins still beat him.
Horrible.
Yeah. It's and like no one wanted Austin Theory to win. I think what like no one really knows, but he wasn't announced for the Money in the Bank ladder match, but maybe Vince McMahon knew the writing was on the wall and he saw big things in Austin Theory. So on the night he put him in the match and had him win it to kind of be like, well, if someone takes over, you still have to deal with Austin Theory as Money in the Bank winner. Like you have to have him win, right? And so they went with like the worst way possible to get him off of him, but at least he didn't do something bad like beat Roman.
Hmm. Who's in the women's Money in the Bank? Is Bianca in it?
No, I think she's kind of injured. Um,
Ooh.
she might be. I know it's like Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Tiffany Stratton, Lyra Valkyria, Zoe Stark. Let me look this up. Let me look this up.
Mm.
So we got Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and
Ah,
Zoe Stark.
yeah, Naomi's there for the cool spots.
Mm-hmm. Well, she'll deliver. You also have Damian Priest versus Seth Flippin' Rollins. And there are some stakes. Ooh, if Seth loses, he can't challenge for the belt. Well, Damian has it, and if Damian loses, he has to leave the Judgment Day. So
Hmm.
I think Seth is gonna lose.
I saw something about Finn Balor blaming Damian Priest for their problems or something or other.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Um.
Dominic Liv Morgan instead of the other way around, right?
About time.
Uh huh. Go women. But I think this is like some big long con. It's kind of like the MJF Adam Cole story. Like, say if MJF wasn't injured and he would kind of have to like maybe Adam Cole. Like, let's say Adam Cole wasn't injured and they would have to continue the story even though MJF is injured. But at least they're not fucking it up as much as they did the Double Dumpling Gang because that was bad. Like week one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like week one, they fucked that story up. Whereas at least this, they've kind of like managed to carry it along a bit better. Um, some people don't like it, some people really do. It's kind of just your taste on like romance angles in wrestling, but this is kind of like a forced romance angle in wrestling. So I just want that
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, custody of Dominic Mysterio ladder match.
Yes, please.
Awesome. Awesome. Uh, yeah, I guess there's a couple things we need everyone out there in YouTube land to do, isn't there?
Oh yeah, brother.
Well, let's go ahead and elbow drop, elbow drop that like button, and power bomb that subscribe button, and leave a comment. Uh, yeah, we've been getting some interesting comments. Keep them coming. Um, yeah, we like to engage with our audience. Yeah, anything you want us to talk about. If you disagree with us, let us know. If you agree with us, let us know. We want to hear it all. Um, yeah, we love wrestling. We're not professional journalists. We're just doing this on the side. We all have real jobs, but yeah, this is pretty important to us nonetheless. We love critiquing AEW and shoot WWE for that matter.
Oh
Yeah.
So
yeah. If WWE does something stupid, I'll talk about it. If WWE does something great, I'll talk about it. Like it's the nature of the business.
I may not prefer WWE, but I respect it.
Ooh.
Dave's mind has changed.
I mean, dude, they've been in the game for 40 whatever 50 years or something. Like
Mm.
there's so much history, man. Like you can't deny that. Like I was a WWF fan before WCW got big. Uh Honky Tonk Man, Jake the Snake, Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant. I loved all that stuff. At that point, WCW was a distant second. Back then, when you talked about wrestling, you didn't say professional wrestling, you said the WWF.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate it. I know they've got a long lineage, a long history. Even what they're doing now, they're number one. Like they're backed by billions and billions of dollars. Um, they've got great talent, all that. So they're in a lot better position than they were, I don't know, 3 years ago, I'd say, when everyone was wanting to leave and Vince McMahon was pissing everyone off. Um, yeah,
He pissed me away. I
Yeah.
mean, I would watch Mania and the Rumble, but that's because Mania is a
Yeah.
special
Mania in
one-time
the
event.
Rumble.
Yeah, but like other than that, I couldn't stand to watch it. And going back and hearing about all those events I missed, spoiler, I didn't miss anything. So
yeah. AEW came along, and I hadn't watched wrestling since 2001. I peeked into TNA every now and again. I didn't have really cable television to be watching TNA. I mean, if I did, maybe I would have, but I'd check their website and watch YouTube clips because Sting was on there, and I kind of enjoyed the aces and eights stuff they were doing. It reminded me of the NWO a little bit, which will always be one of my favorite things, NWO. But yeah, AEW came along and it just really clicked with me. I got that WCW vibe, and yeah, here I am today, diehard AEW fan. And I'm not going to say they can do no wrong because they've messed up some stuff,
Mm-hmm.
definitely storylines, um, decisions that Tony Khan has made may not have been the smartest decisions. So, and we're going to call that out.
I think they're in a decent spot after
Yeah.
Forbidden Door. I mean, it's kind of just like I gauge how good the pay-per-view was is how interested I am for the Dynamite after, and
Yeah.
quite
That's fair.
frankly, I'm quite interested in the
Oof.
Dynamite after.
Might as well be another pay-per-view.
Oh,
I really
man,
hope
yeah, that card.
I hope the Osprey Garcia match is the main event, so we have to sit there and wait for that whole
Mm.
2 hour show about what's Osprey going to be like. How's Daniel Garcia going to capitalize on this? Like, is he going to be a bit more vicious and attack and take advantage of him, or is he going to be a bit more noble and want a fair fight? It's an interesting dilemma, and that's just that match. There's two men's Owen Hart matches, and there's one women's
Yeah.
Owen Hart match.
Yeah. How's Brian Danielson going to look?
Yeah, he had a big match against Shingo, whereas Pac had the weekend off. He might have worked Collision, but he had the weekend off. And then you got the big Willow Chris Statlander match, whereas I'd argue, aside from the final, that's the most important match
Mm-hmm.
of the entire women's own heart match, arguably the entire men's one too. Then you got that wild card. We get to find out how Shane McMahon can do. Who doesn't want to see Shane McMahon versus Jeff Jarrett in 2024? I know I want to see it.
I do, I
Right here.
do.
Right here, right here.
Ah,
They go to
well,
okay, here's my pitching. They go to a time limit draw, so then it's a triple threat
Nice.
against Jay White. they both pinned Jay White. They both pinned Bryan Danielson. So it's Jeff Jarrett, Shane McMahon versus Swerve in the main event of All In. Who wouldn't want that?
Oh man, I love it. If Shane McMahon shows up, that automatically means that the WWE is buying AEW, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, happened last time.
Mm-hmm.
Shane McMahon is going to be on one screen, and Triple H is going to be
The
the
name on
other.
the contract does say McMahon, but it says Shane McMahon.
Oh man, that made me sad. I
Sorry
don't
to
want to
bring
talk
up
about
old
that.
wounds. I just really
Yeah,
like the idea. I just really like the idea of Shane and AEW. It's really funny.
yeah, man. It's so funny, it just might work. Anyway, uh, I heard there's a distant land called the Audio Realm.
Oh yeah. Let's give that a quick. Sorry, I got after shill for a minute.
Please.
So yeah, if you sitting out, well, shoot, like a 2-hour podcast in this case, is hard on YouTube for you. You can tune into us on the Audio Realm, where all major audio podcasts are found, such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, Podbean. Who else?
All of the rest.
All the rest. And if we're not on there, leave us a note in the comment, and I'll make sure we get onto that one.
We're working on that
Oh,
AM
yeah.
radio channel so you can listen to us nationwide.
And we're gonna get that local public access cable channel too, aren't we?
Swing.
Oh yeah. AEW is gonna hire us. Who
So-
needs injury report when you got Grapple-Sauce?
Yep, true that. Cool. But yeah, fun pay-per-view all in all. There were some duds, but that main event freaking pulled it all together. Like that, I would have paid almost $50 just to watch that. I don't know. Hot take.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. Looking forward to the Fallout episode of Dynamite. Big, huge card. And yeah, we'll be getting back on our normal track, watching Collision. Hopefully, they can keep it tantalizing enough for us to want to review it. Otherwise, I'd like to maybe try, if we can, to fit in a retro view on a retro match at some point here soon too.
Faux show.
2016's men's 5-on-5 Survivor Series match.
That was a good one.
That was, if I get my
Although-
pick next, that's my vote. But I think Chad's next.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll concede. You can do that one. Mine would be an NXT match, probably. As
Keith Lee, Dijak.
that one was really good.
Maybe they'll run it back.
Mm-hmm.
Only one way to find out. Watch AEW, brother. There you go, Tony Khan. There's your show for the night.
Okay, done shilling. Dave, do the
Yeah.
thing.
All right, I'm gonna do the thing. Bye.
Peace.
Bye bye.